World approval was sensational, winning Saturday's Grade 1 4-star Dave. It was a breakthrough win at the meet for Norm Cassie and his son Mark, and for jockey Manny Franco. All smiles from those connections. We'll hear from Mark and his son coming up. And a little extra news about world approval as well, the bad actor. Copper Bullet, next year's potential Triple Crown class, takes center stage on Sunday. Is Copper Bullet ready to fire and become an early leader in the 2-year-old division? Or is Diamond Oops the real deal, the only multiple winner in the Saratoga Special? Will try to start his career 3 for 3 as he invades from South Florida. Hello everyone, and welcome to a Sunday edition of Saratoga Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Another tremendous crowd on hand with beautiful weather here in the summer place to be. One of the premier meets in all the country. Saratoga, great to have you with us here on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, Los Angeles Dodger, Paul LaDuca. Our feature today, the future of horse racing, 112th running of the Saratoga Special, and Copper Bullet comes in for trainer Steve Asmussen, who is a 3-time winner of this event in the past.
Yeah, and he's got a Derby pedigree. He's a set of more than ready, and they can definitely get the Derby distance, and he's got an interesting pedigree on the bottom side, an Unbridled Song, and he was very good last time out in the Bashford Manor. He lost to a horse named 10 City, who's very highly regarded for Penny McPeak, that I think we'll see on the Derby trail, even though I think his pedigree doesn't lean that way. But Copper Bullet, a major player today.
5-2 morning line favorite, with more on a couple of horses coming in from out of town for the Saratoga Special. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, former trainer Stanley Huff won this Saratoga Special back in 1991 with Caller ID, and again in 1996 with All Chatter. He will try to win the Saratoga Special again, but in a different manner, as an owner, part owner here with Sagamore Farm, as they will send out Barry Lee, who is a wicked fast debut winner at Laurel Park, where he won by more than 6 lengths that day, and he put away the rest of his competition, and that race featured several next time out winners. I like what I see from Barry Lee as he fought off all challenges. He will also have to go up against another horse that is coming in off of a maiden win. That would be going out for trainer Dale Romans in Hollywood Star. I got to interview Robbie Alvarado after he won yesterday's 8th race, and he was very excited. That's the reason he's here at Saratoga, to ride Hollywood Star, a horse who didn't get away that cleanly, but boy, in the midway through the race, he was extremely professional and passing horses, which is something you always like to see with horses who don't have experience. So Hollywood Star will be looking to come from off of it here once again for his connections. But for more on the Saratoga Special race coming up a little bit later, we'll throw it over to Andy and Tom. What are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I think it's a really interesting race, and I wanted to ask your perspective, Tom, about the Saratoga Special. It's a competitive field, but we do have a track that's been pretty conducive towards horses with speed and on the inside. You're a trainer who runs horses at a lot of different racetracks, and you must deal with track bias. What do you do when you get in a situation where you feel a track may not be playing to your horse's strengths? Do you adjust?
You stay the course. I mean, look, it's now, that race will be the 8th race run today. By this time, it's the worst kept secret on the racetrack that speed has been good today. That's when strange things happen. The pace gets really, really rapid. Everybody wants the same position, and the next thing you know, your winner comes from way out of it.
So you don't really change things. We'll see if other trainers are looking at it that way. I always like to get your perspective on that. I always like to get Greg's perspective as well.
Well, our perspective is to get people signed up, started, and play along with the races that we are showing everyone this afternoon, because the Saratoga Special, part of a great Big Four that is beginning in the very next race coming up. Want to remind everyone you can get signed up and started here in a moment, as our track conditions as well that we have for you. Beautiful weather today. Looking forward to it. Races that we're bringing you comprise the Pick 4 sequence. There they are, race 7 over the inner turf, mile and a 16th. Saratoga Special's the 8th. Seems to be pretty wide open. 5.5 furlong sprint on the turf in race 9 and race 10. That's a race that has come off the grass. Now on the main track, and a mile and a 16th has completely changed the complexion of that event. So we'll talk about that one a little bit more later on. Our track conditions, mentioned the weather is just outstanding here. This is one of the prettiest days that we have seen here of the entire meet. They're brought to you by John Deere. Main track fast, turf good.
Yeah, and listen, we got a lot of rain yesterday, and it tightened up the main track. We'll see what goes on with the turf course, see if there's any give.
Want to remind everybody, get signed up, started. You can get down in this pick 4 if you get signed up with Naira Bets. Bet $200, you'll get $200 in your account. Use the promo code PICK5 to take advantage of that. Go to NairaBets.com. You can get signed up with Naira Bets all across the country, nationwide. Naira Bets, it is racing's best play. Well, in case you missed it, here on Saturday, we had our very own trainer Tom Amos mic'd up as he was saddling his horse Lone Sailor in yesterday's 7th race. And Tom, we had no idea how talented you were to be able to do this, be on live television, and talk us all through it at the same time.
Well, look, I've saddled a lot of horses in my day, probably over 13,000, so that's second nature to me. It really didn't bother me at all. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a lot of fun to bring the crowd in and let them know what I'm thinking during the race, which wasn't all positive things. When my horse came to the paddock, he was hollering and neighing, and actually the two horses that were doing that were him and Chad Brown's horse, a two-horse, and we talked about focus and how that's so important, and those things show lack of focus. They were both affected, the two as well as my horse, the 4 Lone Sailor, were both affected by that when the actual race ran. And look, it's a long season. It's about playing this first game, which we did with our horse, his debut, but you've got a whole season of races ahead of you. What do you do differently? What do you change to make it better for your horse next time and let him build to the future? That's what's important.
Do you feel he got a lot out of the race, Tom? Do you think he'll improve a lot in the second start?
No question about it. I take this away from the race. Look, he's going to be more mentally mature next time, as well as he's going to be a horse that wants more distance than that, Andy. So, you know, my next start's going to be probably a 2-turn start with him, and I'm excited about his future.
Oh, we're looking forward to seeing him. I think he actually ran sneaky well in there, and I think you have a lot to look forward to with Lone Sailor. People should put him on their horse-to-watch list for next time he races.
We've got the 7th coming up in 17 minutes. Let's take a look here at this field. This race remains on the grass here on the inner turf. It's an allowance optional 62 race coming up, and there are 2 in the race for Chad Brown in post position 1 and 2, and Pas de Souci, State's debut, coming in from France right now. Paul, the 2-1 favorite.
Yeah, and a horse that, listen, debuts with Lasix here, and you get Irad Ortiz, all signs pointing towards the 2 is the horse to beat. You're taking a look at the 1 Galileo Song, who I thought was very impressive 2 back, and last time out just didn't get the trips on lead, just basically took that field gate to wire. You know, this race right here I thought was a really good race. And here's the thing about Galileo Song. You look at his 2 efforts with a tiny bit of cut in the ground, they're not that bad. Now, he looks like he's home right here, and he's going to get ripped by the horse on the inside of him. It was a masterful ride by Tyler Gaffleone, I think, on the inside. But I don't think he was hanging at all. I think he was finishing in that aspect. The race before that was on the yielding turf course. He ran well. I think he is the one to beat. But, listen, both Chad Brown horses, how do you leave them out?
Always tough to do that, especially here at Saratoga, especially on the turf. And with more on the Chad Brown runners and the rest of this field, let's go to Maggie.
And we'll take a look at some horses coming off layoffs of varying degrees, and 2 of them are from the Chad Brown barn. Galileo's Song, she will return now as a 4-year-old, and I have to say that looking at her, she's certainly kind of physically matured a lot. She's grown, she's filled out, she's even gotten longer in her frame, which I think is always promising. You always like to see these fillies physically taking that next step forward from year to year. She looks fit here. She's a little more relaxed than I've seen her in the past, but like I alluded to, that could be just her physically and mentally maturing. I think she's a filly that has shown some promise. We'll see if she can kind of get back to her good races. Next, we'll check in with his stateside debut horse, and that is Pas de Souci for Chad, as she is your current favorite at 2-1 here on the board. Dappled head to toe. She looks great in that sense. She probably, to me, and I don't know her, to be honest, she probably looks 95% fit. But if she's that talented, she should be able to win just based upon that. I do like the fact that she's debuting here going a mile and 16. Sometimes when you see these horses that have been successful at a mile or 7/8 and people kind of automatically want to stretch them way out when they get to the States here, and some of them honestly look as though they're just more suited to going the shorter distances, but she looks as though she should relish this 2-turn mile and a 16th here. Now, Earring, she's coming off a bit of a shorter layoff than the aforementioned 2 in here for Tom Proctor. She's a solid filly. You know, she kind of turns back in distance here overall. We'll see how that works out for her. She does feel like that kind of grinding type all in the way that she looks here, the way that her form would read. So we'll see. She looks fit and healthy to me. We'll just see if this is the right kind of distance for her. But Andy, what are your thoughts on the inside 2 coming back here for Chad Brown?
I think they're the 2 horses, Maggie, you have to focus on because it's the Chad Brown factor. And we're back on the turf, obviously. The turf is good. I think we needed that rain. It's going to be good for us. But a horse that I want to talk about with Tom to start it out is actually a different horse, and that's the 4 Now Power, who I think is in a position to wire this field. And she got engaged in a pretty tough pace with a good horse named Browse last time. And I'm going to kind of hope that Now Power can lead this field in a merry chase.
Yeah, sneaky little form here. Look at her last 2 races. The first one was an off-the-turf race. That's not her game, dirt. So I throw that one out. She comes back in a very difficult race after that and gets hooked early in a fast pace. Today, I think she's a little bit more leisurely on the front end and has a chance to make the lead on her own. They're looking at her in the betting as well. She's currently 6-1.
Yeah, and I think she's a very interesting player. You look at her races last year when she was able to control. It's actually I'm boxing 4-7. There's no 9 in this race, but I am betting $20 to win on the 4, and I'm going to box 4-7. I'm hoping she can wire. And the 7 Spiga, who I'd like to talk about with you, I think her last race might be a little underrated from a figure department. She got an 82 buyer, which is okay, but probably not good enough to win here. But that was a race at a very slow pace, which is obviously going to affect the final time somewhat, and she was still able to overcome that slow pace and win.
You know, I watched that replay, Andy. To me, Spiga, the 7 horse, is a horse that is just accomplishing what everybody else in this field has done. She won the A other than allowance race. She's now stepping up to the next level. All these other horses in here have done that and have gone through the wars of competing in this kind of race. So I don't like her that much, and she's going to carry top weight. She gets penalized for that win.
Interesting point about it. It is definitely tougher company. Tricky horse to ride, and you watch her here, Tom, because it feels like Joel really has to time his move very carefully, which may make things difficult for her.
I call this a workmanlike win. I get it. The pace may not have been that quick. She's not separating herself from this group. There are 4 horses within a length of her, and all those horses are still running in the other than condition. She has to step up and face these tougher horses.
And obviously the tougher horses include the 2 from Chad Brown, the 1 Galileo Song, and Paul was talking about it, a tough beat in that stake 2 back. Do you get the feeling, though, she may want more distance? And coming off the layoff at a mile and 16th, I'm sure they want to win, but maybe it's a bit of a prep?
So I think what I like about the 1 horse Galileo's Song is that she's wide when she makes her run in that 2 back going to the Boiling Springs at Monmouth. Scent, and the only reason she got beat is because the winner got through on the rail and she took the overland route. So she should be a stakes winner, and she should not be eligible for this condition. But as it is, she is. Look, off the layoff, this horse hasn't run since September. Chad Brown is deadly with these kind of horses.
No, she's obviously a major player, and even the Sands Point last time out, that was a very moderate pace that compromised her chances. Pas de Soucis for Chad Brown. He's 5 for 9 over the last 5 years, I believe, with horses from Europe on distance races on the turf at Saratoga. One of them was Decida, who won a stake race, a healthy ROI. He seems to point these horses for the Saratoga meet.
I'm looking at that horse's past performance. It's all from France. I don't see a lot of graded races, but the ones that are there aren't that good. So my note is to watch the odds on this first-time Lasix horse coming from overseas, the 2 horse, and the odds say she is live today. She's currently the favorite, Andy.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very good point about her.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the bottom line here, the most important thing you got to see is she getting played here in her state's debut. Mm-hmm. She is the favorite right now from a 9-2 morning line, so she obviously is fairly live.
Yeah, I think she's very live in here, and she's run against some decent horses over in France. And, you know, listen, I would think that Irad is going to try to make one run. Now, Galileo Song 2, I mean, you never really know, but you look at the two, the past performances say to the lead, and then they say late gain. So, this horse has versatile running style. Sometimes in Europe they run a little bit different. And when the horse did show speed, actually, that was a 7-furlong race. So I'm wondering if the two can break out of the gate. And I think the guys downstairs are completely wrong. I think Spiga's got enough speed. She was completely ranked 2 back. She wants to go and was even more headstrong than last start. I think she's right on the forest tail from the beginning of this race. If he decides to make it into a 2-horse race, Joel Rosario, I think he can with the 4 and slow it down because there's no other pace in here. But I think Spiga's going to be right there.
Boat Parade here coming up in a few moments as we see Pop By. That is a Grand Motion horse running by there, the 5. Daughter of City Zip, who's had 3 starts here in the state. She, too, used to run overseas in France, and she just missed by a nose at Delaware last time out at 7.5 furlongs.
The Delaware horses, they have shipped well here and have done okay over the turf course.
So our post parade coming up, 2-1 favorite, Pas de Souci, 1 of 2 in here for Chad Brown, who had a big day on Arlington Million Day out in the Chicago area. We're going to recap those races from that big afternoon a little bit later on in the show, but continuing to do his thing with his turf runners.
Yeah, and the horse that won that race, we'll preview later, he got his due finally. He was due to win a big one.
Been a long time since Beach Patrol had broken through into a 6-race losing streak. As we get set here for the start of this late pick 4, we have 327,000 plus in this pool coming up. Again, you can play it through Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. Horses making that journey over Champions Way here onto the main track. And we're going to see the 2 Chad Brown runners to kick things off here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Saratoga Springs. And here we go. Galileo Song will kick things off. Sam the Bugler with the call to post. And the daughter of Galileo will have Javier Castellano aboard, making her 2017 debut.
A talented runner for trainer Chad Brown. 1 of 2 for him coming off an 11-month layoff.
The States debut and also 2017 debut for Pas de Souci. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for Chad Brown.
Yeah, this is going to make her first start in the U.S. for connections that win often doing this.
Earring on the board at 7:01 for trainer Tom Proctor. Florent Giroux rides.
A talented runner who lost a grade 3 by a nose, but that was at 1.5 miles. You have to imagine this is a prep maybe for the Glens Falls later in the meet at 1.5 miles.
Speed's been doing well on this inner turf course. Now Power has speed for Brian Lynch with Julien Leperoux.
Not only has speed, in my opinion, is the lone speed of this race, and will try to take them gate to wire.
Pop By, here's the Grand Motion runner with Jose Ortiz for Flaxman Holdings.
Comes in from Delaware, where she ran okay last time out. This field is tougher.
Spiga for Christophe Clement. It's Joel Rosario in the irons coming in off a win.
A bit of a difference opinion on the set on Spiga. I agree a little bit more with Paul LaDuca that she could be a player. Tom Amos thinks a big jump up in class.
And not taken on the outside, 13-1, Rajiv Mirage for John Terranova.
This is one that's been running in these kinds of races, middle of the pack every time. Needs to improve to be a factor today.
That is our field for race 7. Kicks off this late pick 4. We mentioned the 4 now Power and the speed, and speed being dangerous over the inner turf. Let's go to Gabby Gaudet with more. Standing by with a trainer, Brian Lynch.
Standing with Brian Lynch as he sends out Now Power. And this will be her 3rd start off of the layoff. Brian, how much do you think she needed those last 2 races to get to the race here today?
Yeah, I think the dirt race, that was a bit of a throw out. It was just sort of a conditioner race. And the other day, there was no speed in the race. I had told Julian that, even from an outside post that possibly try and make the lead, but everybody tried to do it. She got packed wide going into the first turn, and it was a bit of a head-banging match going down the backside. So hopefully today this race is a little bit more void of speed, and she can be, if she makes it comfortably, then she could possibly walk the dog on the front end and be able to, have a bit of finish to her.
And she's definitely on her toes in the paddock. She was kind of pulling the walkers around here in the paddock. So you expect her to be pretty quick and go to the lead. That's the strategy.
I'd like her to relax on the lead, but I think it's probably one of her best assets is she's got some early foot, and if she gets comfortable there and and is able to slow them down, then that's when she's most effective.
Mile and a 16th could help her more so than the mile, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, the heat was on, especially going into the first turn the other day, so it was a fast race, and I think she sort of got packed wide and never got a chance to really fall into stride and settle, and hopefully today's a different scenario.
All right, well, best of luck here, Brian.
Thank you, I'm ready for it.
All right, and she looked fantastic here in the paddock as well, dappled from head to toe, Greg.
Yes, she did. We talked about Chad Brown having a good day in Chicago. Brian Lynch did as well.
Yeah, Oscar performance yesterday, winning the Secretariat, so congratulations to him.
You can watch live Saratoga racing, replays, expert analysis videos, and workouts all on demand and in HD with the NYRA Now app, the ultimate app for horse racing fans. It's a free download, an absolute must for the fantastic racing at Saratoga. Quick break. We'll be back with the Pick 4.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warfront. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 Mile at Keeneland. Then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. With a pedigree free of Mr. Prospector in the first 4 generations, Data Link is the perfect outcross option. His first weanlings turned heads, selling well above the stud fee. Data Link at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NYRA Bets Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NYRABets.com. Bet the NYRA Bets Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NYRABets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any NYRA track or New York OTB location. NYRA Bets Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back on Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports 2. Fans bringing out their families for the Sunday afternoon action here on a beautiful day in Saratoga Springs. We have the Pick 4 coming up in just a few moments. With more on this field coming up, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And out on the track here, Greg, going to take a look at the horse making her stateside debut. That is number 2, Pare Susi, for trainer Chad Brown. Now, once she got Irad Ortiz on her back in the paddock, she was a bit of a handful, and T kind of saw that energy, or I should say felt that energy underneath of him, and busted away from the pony, gave her a real nice gallop all the way from the 16th pole to the backside, going the wrong way all the way to about the half-mile pole. Since then, he just quietly walked her and jogged her. So it's like as if he needed to get that energy out of her system. Now, she's a horse that doesn't necessarily go to the lead, at least in her foreign races. So we'll see, but I think she's on her toes and she is fresh. We'll see if she needs to shake off any ring rust. I want to talk about some equipment on 2 horses that you see out on the track. If we can get a close-up on number 3 in here, that is Earring. You see the white things in her ears. Those are ear muffs, and they're actually attached to her bridle with a string. So once she's done racing, they can kind of pop them out very easily, but they're just to drown out any kind of noise, erroneous noise that she might hear that might set her off. And the same thing goes for number 5 in here. That is Pop By, who is wearing a hood, and according to her connections, Grand Motion and Company, she always wears that, and the same kind of thing. It just kind of muffles out any kind of sound that might wind these 2 fillies up, and they have not turned her hair. They are calm, cool, and collected here, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. Good information there. So we'll see if the earmuffs work for Pop By. Back in the West Coast, Barry Abrams used to use that maneuver a lot.
Yeah, try to keep the crowd noise out, and hopefully it settles her down. And she was good last time out, just missing between horses.
So Gabby, Paul, each going with Chad Brown's Galileo's Song, who is at 5-2 on the board right now. That is the one. Maggie going with Pas de Souci, the other Chad Brown runner, and Andy Tom both like Now Power for Brian Lynch. And again, pace with the 4 Now Power could be dangerous here. We'll see if Brian Lynch gets what he wanted with the slow early fractions. 5 acting up a little bit. There is Pop By with Jose Ortiz.
So horse that was improving. You look at her one start here in the U.S. It was a bad race, but her 2 turf races at Delaware were very good for Graham Motion, and she's just not really having it right now. And now Jose's gonna get off of her and see if they can settle her down.
Yeah, let's get to Maggie for more.
And once the pony kind of turned her loose, she immediately wheeled away from the gates here, guys. And one of the gate crew, the assistant starters, went down to grab her. Jose is going to jump off her, and I'm assuming they're going to load without him on. And it seems though she's going forwardly to the gate while in hand here. So I'll keep you abreast if she's going to misbehave anymore, but it seems like she's moving forwardly towards the gates now.
And Jose, giving the starting gate crew their proper due there, I believe, saying thank you very much for taking care of the situation here with Pop By.
Well, she's had some issues before. She broke flat-footed and sort of towards last time, and she had another bad break in Europe, only a couple times, but just being a little stubborn.
It's the start of this late pick 4. She gets in. Jose Ortiz will no doubt hop aboard now. 9-5 favorite, Pas de Souci, the 2 for Chad Brown in her States debut. Let's get upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown for the call, Larry Colmus.
Here's Not Taken, who completes the line, all in line and ready for a start. They're off. It was not a good start for Not Taken. Earring is going out to the front with Now Power on the outside. Now Power will grab the lead from Earring. And then it's Pop By, Pas de Souci, Galileo's Song on the inside, Spiga, and Not Taken will be last early after getting away slowly. Now Power heads them into that turn in front. The leader by a length, Pop By on the outside. Earring is running in third as they run around that turn and complete the opening quarter in 25.19. Pas de Souci is fourth onto the backstretch and well held. Stablemate Galileo's Song follows in fifth, and Spiga and Not Taken is last of them all. So onto the backstretch they go, led by Now Power and Julian Leparoux. They're out there by a length and a half. Pop By on the outside second. Earring is third. Pas de Souci is fourth. Galileo's Song fifth up the backstretch, 5 from the front. And then it's Spiga and Not Taken. 50.27 was the half mile as they race for the far turn. Now Power continues to lead a length and a half. Inside it's Earring. Pop By to the outside. Pas de Souci fourth, racing for the far turn. Then Galileo's Song and Spiga. And last of them all is Not Taken. Around the turn they go. Still Now Power and Pop By. Pas de Souci continues to move well to the outside of them. Earring cuts the corner in fourth. Galileo's Song is fifth. Pop By and Now Power, Pas de Souci on the outside. These three come into the final furlong. Behind them comes Earring and Galileo's Song. Pas de Souci close to home. Earring, Galileo's Song on the outside, and Now Power. They're coming down to the line. Pas de Souci, no problem. It was close for second, maybe Galileo's Song in a photo with Earring, and Now Power was fourth in 1:43.62.
Chad Brown starts things off in this late pick 4 with Pas de Souci, her States debut, a winning one with Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, very impressive here. She broke sharply from the gate. A lot of Europeans, first time here in the U.S., they really don't break sharp. It's somewhat new to them, but I thought she was in good position. Irad put her in the right spot, and the 2 Chad Brown fillies, I think, are going to end up running 1-2 here.
Yeah, I mean, she was just the best horse in this race. We have no excuse for our horse Now Power. She was able to set that slow pace, and looking at the start, the 7 did, the 8 broke out there. But as you say, Irad got this horse to her position, and the horse did the rest.
No, did indeed. I mean, class of the field, the board showed it. This horse was bet down to favoritism. Whenever you have a questionable looking form you don't understand, like a European form here, always turn to the board and see what the smart money's doing.
And took even a little bit more money late in here. Winds up going off as a solid 8-5 favorite. here in the 7th race. Strong finish there from Irad Ortiz Jr. and a great job by Chad Brown to have this filly ready off the bench for her debut.
Yeah, you know, I think maybe Now Power just didn't get anything out of her last 2 races and was able to just cut off good fractions, but just nothing left. I'm surprised Spiga was that far back thinking that he can outfinish these 2 horses. One thing about the European horses and Galileo Song, these horses like this, they are going to finish. They can run all day.
Standing by with a winning rider. Let's head to Maggie on horseback.
Pada Suzy makes her stateside debut, winning one here with Irad Ortiz. And Irad, what I noticed before the race is she was sharp, and she broke pretty alertly for a European horse. Did that kind of surprise you?
The trainer told me to try to warm them up good and pay attention on the start because they all kind of broke a little slow out of there. So I was ready for her and tried to put in close so I can get some position. She broke good. She put me in a great position when I asked and she was there.
And she was kind of swishing her tail a little bit coming down the lane. Was that just kind of reacting to you riding her or just a little sassy?
I think no, because when I hit her with the whip, she take off. Yeah. Usually some fillies, she don't like too much the whip, but she responds pretty good. And I think that's just her because in the warm-up she was doing it.
She was feeling her oats today, that's for sure. And you have a pretty nice rapport with Chad Brown fillies. Took the Beverly D yesterday with Desita. Congratulations there.
Thank you. That was awesome. I mean, win the Beverly D. I rode for him, Stephanie Skitten, and I finished second. They put me up. Good experience. So yesterday I got the winner for him. That was awesome.
Well, congratulations here, keeping things rolling for the Brown Barn.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the owners and Chad Brown.
Well done, Irad, guys. Pada Suzy, she's pretty good here in the States, too.
That she is, winning at 8-5 in her debut. And yeah, Irad Ortiz Jr. celebrated his 25th birthday on Friday. Both he and his younger brother getting wins on that big Arlington card yesterday.
How about that? She doesn't like the whip, but her mama's name, Whip and Win.
Go figure. 2-1-3-4. Pada Suzy, a winning states debut for the Chad Brown Barn and Swift Thoroughbred Sheep Pond Partners. Our feature, the Grade 2 Saratoga Special. Coming up next, Copper Bullets. 8-length maiden score at Churchill. Troubled Trip in his stakes debut. He'll be the one to beat next.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new Naira Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. Naira Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download Naira Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Back on Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2, Pas de Souci, Interstate's debut, getting the win with Irad Ortiz Jr. Ties up his younger brother, Jose Ortiz, for the riding title here with a long way to go, of course, and Chad Brown taking the lead by 1 over Todd Pletcher. $5.20 for the victory. Galileo's Song winds up second. Earring third at 10-1 on the board. Let's head downstairs to Gabby for more.
Thanks, Greg. Pas de Souci, super professional in her stateside debut. And Chad, I know you have a lot of experience with preparing these fillies and really any horse from overseas for their North American debut. But what's the key? She was awesome today.
You have to have really good horses sent to you. And Pete Bradley actually bought this horse. He's bought a lot of good ones for our team over the years. And this looks like the latest one. She trained like a good horse and got a beautiful trip by Irad, all worked out.
And her France form was very good, but she looks like a filly that's pretty versatile, would you say, in terms of distances?
I think so. We'll see. I'll slowly try to stretch her out and see where her limitations are. But couldn't have started off her North American campaign any better.
Well, you were here yesterday, but you had a fantastic day yesterday in Chicago, and talking about Decida in the Beverly D and Beach Patrol in the Arlington Million. Had to have been a good day, a good ending to a good day.
It really was. You know, I have so much respect for those races at Arlington, and I normally go every year. I was just too busy here, and I'll tell you, it's the advantage of having a qualified staff of just all-stars around me, and they can handle everything when I'm not there. It all worked out great, and you know, just hopefully the horses come out of the race okay, and they'll have a good rest of the year.
What kind of campaign are we looking at with both of them and Grand Jeté, who ran an incredible race in the Beverly D?
Yeah, you'd have to consider Flower Bowl for the first two finishers, you would think, but everything's on the table. And Beach Patrol, we're not really sure. If there's a pure mile and a quarter horse, I don't know if he's better any shorter or longer, so it's going to be hard to find races for him, but he's a top class horse like he showed yesterday, and you know, you'll hear from him again.
All right, I'm sure we will. Congratulations here and yesterday, Chad.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. You heard Chad Brown mention Pete Bradley. They've known each other since shortly after Chad Brown graduated from Cornell and before he worked for the late Bobby Frankel and actually handled a couple of horses that came pretty good for Chad Brown, Lady Eli and Normandy Invasion.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for Beach Patrol. He's been an unlucky customer. 6 second-place finishes, and he got the job done yesterday. Old horse, California horse that Phil Diamato had, and Chad's really done a good job with him.
Grade 2 Saratoga Special, 112th running of this race, and maybe a future winner in the Triple Crown Series. We're going to see out of this race. Who knows? Field of 9 lining up. It's Copper Bullet. Trainer Steve Asmussen trying to win this race for the 4th time. 5-2, Irad Ortiz Jr. on board. We'll talk more about this Saratoga Special coming up here in just a little bit. Time for In Case You Missed It. Yesterday's Grade 1 4-star Dave. Big time performance from World Approver. Mark Cassie actually was considering scratching this horse with the rein. He is also a little concerned about the cutback and distance. Good thing they wound up running.
Now charges up into second. Balarox's third time test in behind the leaders, moving with Disco Partner, who's wide, and they're into the stretch. Sassy Little Lila, Balarox, World Approval, time test on the outside, and Disco Partner trying to come on too. World Approval takes the lead, a furlong out. It is World Approval in front. Balarox, time test on the outside, now moving up into second, but World Approval's got it. World Approval in the 4-star Dave.
Well, Mark Cassie, good thing he did run in this race. He said this horse likes a target, and when you're running further, he doesn't get that. This was just the 2nd time in 22 career starts World Approval cut back to a mile.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, class prevailed. He lowered his head and went by that field with a pumped-up Manuel Franco. And good for the Cassie barn. They had some struggles coming into this race, but this gray was much the best yesterday.
Yeah, and actually they chose Manny Franco, who's the replacement for Julian Leperoux, partly because Mark Cassie saw Franco in a charity basketball game here the other week. He loved his athleticism and his determination he showed. That's why he wound up putting him on the horse. Pretty incredible, right?
Pretty good. All you got to do sometimes is go to the YMCA and have a good jump shot, and sometimes you can win a Grade 1.
Yeah, exactly. First Grade 1, by the way, at Saratoga for Manny Franco. Gabby Gaudet was able to catch up with assistant trainer Norm Cassie after the win.
Standing right in front of the stall of multiple Grade 1 winner, World Approval. And Norman, just talk briefly about his performance yesterday and really what an incredible race it was.
You know, Gabby, we were really excited to get him going because he had trained really well up to the race, and you know, I think Manny Franco just put an absolute brilliant ride on him, and he ran the race that we thought he would run. So it was a very exciting day.
Well, what a difference a year makes. This time last year, you guys ran him in the Arlington Million at 1.25 miles. This year, cut him back to the mile. What was the purpose in doing that?
Just trying to figure out what he's best at. He's a very talented horse, and we got to figure out what his niche is. And we flirted with the idea of running a mile. Now that we have, he's done it well. It opens up a lot of different avenues.
And talking about those avenues, what would you say could be his campaign moving forward, still keeping him at the mile?
We have a bunch of options now, and I could foresee us going to Woodbine, running a Woodbine mile, coming back at Keeneland, running in a Shadwell, and then, you know, ultimately pointing him to the Breeders' Cup Mile. And that's the good thing about what happened yesterday. Now it gives us a lot of options.
And he's right behind us. Talk a little bit about his personality. I know he's a little infamous in the barn.
Yeah, I always call him the world's meanest racehorse. It's a joke, but he's not a friend. He's not a kid's horse, that's for sure. He's a man's horse. He doesn't like to be bothered. But the cool thing about him is when he shows up, and those are the best type to have.
Seems to me it just takes a lady's touch. Was doing fine right there with Gabby. Let's take a look at what's trending. And how about this? You end 1 for 40 at the meet. You get a Grade 1 victory. And, oh, Dad tries to put the smacker on his son. The father-son duo having a great time.
Yeah, what a great pitcher. Barbara Livingston always catching the moment.
Yeah, thanks to Barbara Livingston for that. That's a great, great moment. And a win like that goes so long into completely changing the momentum for the Cassie barn. This from Lenny Schulman. Songbird heading to the personal ensign, making Travers Day even bigger. Absolutely.
Yeah, giant news. And Jerry Hollendorfer, you got to give him credit. He's not afraid to ship around the country and showcase some of his best horses, and going to be pumped to see Songbird.
Coaching Club American Oaks winner on this track, in Alabama winner on this track last year. So this crowd is going to be so thrilled to see her back in action here at the Spa. You can get social with all of us. Those are our Twitter handles. Be sure to use the hashtag Saratoga Live when you reach out. We're going to take a break in the action. We will be back with the 112th running of the Grade 2 Saratoga Special. What 2-year-old will shine at the Spa? We'll find out next.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back here on Saratoga Live, the Saratoga Special is coming up next, and the 1983 edition of that race was extra special for Claiborne Farm. Swale, born and bred at Claiborne, his dam was actually the last time Bull Hancock Jr. saw the Claiborne Silks carried to victory in a stakes race, and his second and third dams both bred and raised at Claiborne Farm as well. Andy, pretty special moment.
I loved Swale, you know, and he and Shuttle Jet, I think, who finished second in here, had quite a rivalry. And this was before Devil's Bag has made his debut for Woody Stevens, who, of course, trained Swale. And he kind of got lost in the shadow of Devil's Bag because he was a wonder kind. But Swale was a tremendous racehorse. And when it didn't pan out for Devil's Bag, all Swale went out and did was win the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont Stakes.
You know, it was a different race back then. You look at some of the winners back in the 80s, including Swale, Conquistador Cielo, Chief's Crown, Gulch, Summer Squall. These were classic distance horses that could get the distance. Modern time in this race, maybe Exaggerator, Union Rags, but after that, most of these are pure sprinters that have won this race.
It's a very good point, Tom. I mean, you look at the roster, Greg, of this race, and it's a who's who of good horses going way back.
Andy, I got to ask you one question, though. You know, we have a lot of records in this game. Is anybody ever going to win 5 straight Belmonts again,
No,
like Woody
never.
Stevens?
No, it's a miracle. I mean, even for Tom Fletcher would probably say, I just hope I can get in 5 straight Belmonts, much less win them.
Oh, he's done that.
Yeah, but even for them, it's hard to do. And Wiz, and I'm so glad that Paul brought that up because that achievement by Woody Stevens was remarkable. And he really didn't have a horse for the 6th straight year. He ran Gone West, who was a miler, but he couldn't get a mile and a half.
Swale, by the way, that was the 3rd straight for Woody Stevens when he won the Belmont. He was actually known to take a lot of naps as a horse. He was actually missing one day in his barn. They couldn't find him, so panic ensued. And then someone, a worker there, heard some snoring. I guess there was a little dip in the ground, and that's where they found Swale stretched out, completely asleep, snoring, and that's where the name came from, Swale. Pretty interesting there. He'd go on to win the Kentucky Derby, the only Kentucky Derby, by the way, for Lafitte Pincay, the Hall of Famer. Let's head to Gabby for more on the Saratoga Special.
Well, it's actually me here, Greg, in the paddock as Maggie, that is. As I thought it was an interesting point that Tom brought up, where we see most of these types of horses that have won this race historically, they're more sprinting types. Yet, I do find at this time of the year, it's a bit of a turning point in regards to the 2-year-olds, where we kind of see a separation of horses that are just very precocious types from the ones that have that true kind of stamina and talent. And within this field, as far as what I see from these horses physically, I think there might be some of the latter, to be completely honest, as we'll check in with a horse that is taking some early money in number 4, Barry Lee. They paid up for this Son of Violence. It is Violence's first crop, and I can see why. I mean, when you look at young horses, there's many things you can judge them on, but a lot of times you like to judge them on their walk and their reach. And this guy has a very impressive walk. He also has a very long neck, which I've said this before, and that a horse can reach as far as their neck. And the longer the neck, the bigger the stride. And that's exactly what Barry Lee possesses here. He's classy acting, he's athletic. I like Barry Lee. I think we might hear some noise from this guy as we continue down the road with the 2-year-olds. But some other horses coming in off of impressive 2-year-old or debut wins include number 3, Hollywood Star. He's one that got away slowly, which I can see. It's kind of a bigger, lumbering type. So the more ground I think he gets to cover, the better we will see Hollywood Star become. I like the fact that he's shown the ability to pass horses here. He looks good here in the paddock. He's kind of a laid-back dude where I don't think we're going to see him breaking much more fast than what he did in his debut, but we'll be seeing him possibly coming with the run, though we'll see how the track, this main track, will affect it. And then number 2 is Mo Diddley. Now, he broke his maiden going back to one of the early 2-year-old races, and given his size and scope, I'm surprised he did so. Now, he was well back that day, but he only did get up by a head, and it wasn't that visually impressive, at least in the latter stages of the race. He did break outwardly and kind of then put himself right into stride, right into the mix of things. But I think this is a horse that, like Hollywood Star, is going to appreciate the more ground he gets to cover. He's going from the 4.5 to the 6.5 here today. He's very fit coming off of a laugh, and I like the fact that Mark Cassey has, I don't know if it's by design, but I like the fact that he's given him the time in between races because he is that bigger type of horse, giving him a chance to fill out that frame a little bit. And I think he's an interesting one that might run faster faster than that first race would suggest. So, Andy, this is always interesting with the 2-year-olds.
No, I agree, Maggie. This is a really interesting race coming up. And I think we do have to start on the outside with the horse that has stakes experience, the 9 Copper Bullet. Thought he got kind of a strange ride last time, Tom.
Yeah, very strange ride. Look, he didn't show a lot of speed from the gate, rushed to catch up, got through along the rail, had to stop and start again, and then finished well at the end. But it was one of those rides that I think he would have liked to have that race over because I think he was the best horse. We're looking at him right now in the paddock. He's a little anxious, doing some things that I personally don't like to see. But look, if he calms down with Irad Ortiz on his back and does things right, I wouldn't be overly concerned with it.
He's a talented, experienced runner. I'm worried the racetrack will play against him. I am not worried the place track will play against the 4 Barry Lee. If this horse breaks, he's in front. He was on the inside, which wasn't the best place to be at Laurel last time. He was involved in a wicked fast pace. This horse is a very promising, at least sprinter.
Yeah, Sprinter is right because he was sent hard from the gate that day, Andy, and he never stopped asking this horse all the way to the wire, even though he was well in front. I think he shows signs of being one-dimensional, and maybe you can be one-dimensional today, but I think there's going to be other speed here.
Are you at all concerned then that 6.5 furlongs may be tough for him even on this racetrack?
I think the riders sense that they want to be close today. For the idea that Barry Lee is going to get an easy lead against this group and actually get 2 or 3 lengths in front of this group, I don't see it happening. So I think that's a negative for Barry Lee.
You and I are both fans of the 3 Hollywood Star. Now, obviously, he's going to probably have to be more forwardly placed unless they're flying up front. But Hollywood Star seems like a very talented runner as the horses head out to the racetrack.
Yeah, confidently ridden last time for a win.
Call to post you hear behind us. Post parade here coming up. Every day this Saratoga meets Naira Bets offering a 10% trifecta winners bonus. Today it is this race here in the Saratoga Special. Play the trifecta, hit it on your mobile device and get a 10% winners bonus at NairaBets.com. Post Parade brought to you by OCD Pellets, celebrating their 10th anniversary of supporting the equine industry with their 2-in-1 bone and joint supplement. For more information, go to OCDPellets.com. Here is Bal Harbor for Red Oak Stable, trained by Todd Pletcher with John Velasquez aboard.
Trouble last time in the Sanford, and I thought it actually ran a little bit better than looked. I think this is your long shot here at 12-1.
Mo Diddley comes in from Churchill Downs, trained by Mark Cassie, owned by Gary Barber, and Cheyenne Stables with Javier Castellano.
Connections are very high on this runner who broke out badly at the start last time but still won a very slow race.
Here's Alba Family Stables Hollywood Star, the 3 here with Robbie Alvarado for Dale Romans.
Wow, he ran just like his mom, a Hollywood Story, who won a Grade 1 at 2. This horse ran well first time out.
Ratio to Pause trains Barry Lee for Sagamore Farm. At Stanley Huff, Jose Ortiz rides.
Will be a strong favorite in this race. The fans believe his speed will be good enough to get him home.
Crees, Brooklyn Lawson up by Anstu Stables. Michael Dilger trainee with Manny Franco.
Put the blinkers on and went to Delaware, got a sloppy racetrack, and it was a good effort, but he's really going to have to improve here.
Sumaya U.S. Stable sent out Tempestad for Todd Pletcher with Joe Al Rosario aboard.
Will need to improve substantially off what was a very slow maiden victory.
The 7 Vino, trained by Kelly Breen for Mr. Amore Stable with Paco Lopez.
Wicked fast last time out, but who did he beat? Maybe he can show some early speed. We'll see if he'll have any stay.
Diamond Oops as Luis Saez riding for Patrick Biancone, owned by Martin Schwartz.
Owner Martin Schwartz and Patrick Biancone teamed up in the past for some gigantic victories on the turf. They've got a horse with some talent.
And Steve Asmussen Winchell Thoroughbreds, they won this race back in 2003 with Cuvée. They send out Copper Bullet, Irad Ortiz Jr. in the irons.
Maybe a little bit unlucky to lose last time out at Churchill Downs. The one to beat, at least in my eyes.
Current favorite, Barry Lee for Horatio de Paz, who was brilliant at Laurel in the debut. With more, let's go to Gabby.
With president of Sagamore Farm, Hunter Rankin. And Hunter, you guys have had a very strong division with your 2-year-olds this year. Just talk a little bit about that. Obviously, Southampton Way, He Hate Me taking the Tremont, and now Barry Lee, a very impressive winner first time out.
Well, we were very excited about him from the start. You know, we send him to Ocala Stud every year down in Ocala, and those guys do a great job, the O'Farrells, and they were excited about all of them. And, you know, we think we've got a few to run, too, that haven't run yet that are nice horses. But it's just exciting to be competing on a day like today in such a big race like the Special.
And first time out, he was extremely fast. He drew the rail post position that day, kind of got a little urged out of the gate. Where do you expect him to be today? I would imagine he's going to show that same gate speed.
Yeah, I think it'll be close, but we leave it up to Jose. He'll negotiate the trip. The horse is pretty push button. He'll do whatever you want him to do. So if they're sending, he can relax him. But yeah, they've had to be close lately here, so I'd say he'll be close.
And quickly, talk a little bit about Sagamore. You became the president of Sagamore, overtook that duty about a year ago, a little bit over that, and just talk about how it's developed over the past couple of years with CEO Kevin Plank.
Well, it's such a special place. Mr. Vanderbilt, obviously, really close to Saratoga. He was a mainstay here for a long time, and there's so many stories about him being here, and obviously we just want to carry on that tradition. It's such an honor. I pinch myself every day. I get goosebumps just thinking about being able to do this job. So it's awesome.
Well, not only are you here and have been here since the beginning of the meet, but you guys have had a fantastic meet thus far. Must be a great feeling to get the meet started off the way that you guys did.
It really is. Yeah. Horacio's doing such a great job, and the whole team. It's a team effort, and that's what it's all about. So we're really excited, and hopefully we can continue it.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Hunter, and best of luck here with Barry Lee.
Thank you.
All right, that's Hunter Rankin, president of Sagamore Farm. Greg.
And Barry Lee right now, their horse, the 5-2 favorite here for the special.
His horse was special for the last time out. He really, really ran away from the group. Here's the 5, Crees Brooklyn Long, just acting up a little bit with the blinkers on, but a big long shot, and good stuff there by Gabby, talking about Kevin Plank from Under Armour fame. So Sagamore and Under Armour, a lot of ties.
Grade 2 Saratoga special coming up. It's won by some greats of the past. Favorite Trick won this race 1997. He'd go on to become Horse of the Year as a 2-year-old. We saw Union Rags win this race in 2011. Of course, he'd go on to win the Belmont in his 3-year-old campaign. Exaggerator a couple of years ago. He'd go on to win the Preakness. Who will step up? We'll find out next.
Multiple Grade 1 winner First Samurai by Giants Causeway got off to a quick start at stud, siring Grade 1 winners in each of his first 3 crops. His talented son Lee captured the Grade 1 Don Handicap in record time and retired to stud with over $2.3 million in earnings. Sovereign Award nominee Stack Deck captured the Grade 3 Bold Venture Stakes and Grade 2 Kennedy Road Stakes, both just to tick off track record times. First Samurai at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Welcome to Saratoga Live. It is presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Welcome to those just joining us on Altitude Network. Great to have you with us on Saratoga Special Day. 2-year-olds who will rise and become a contender for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and potentially the Triple Crown in their 3-year-old campaign. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale as we get set for a load.
And guys, I want to discuss this distance of 6.5 and where these horses have to break. They're right at the chute. They're right at the start of the chute. So they bring out this extended rail to kind of keep the horse on the inside from running to that open space. Now, the inside horse is Bal Harbor. You can see here, though, there's still open space for when the chute and the main track open up. So a lot of times we do see the young horses kind of duck to the inside. Just something to think about, and including the outside runner. They like to run to the open space. It's safer for them. They're flight animals, and they want to get away from something, so that's what they do. Now, we did see number 9, Copper Bullet, acting up a little bit before we left the paddock. I think, there's so many people in there, and he's run at Churchill, and I'm sure the paddock there, they kind of limit the amount of people, at least on regular race days, as opposed to Kentucky Derby Day, that are in there, and he just wasn't used to seeing all those people. As soon as he got out on the track, he was way more professional and way more calm here beneath Irad Ortiz. Though Irad is one to warm up without the pony, he did stay with the pony today, so I don't know if we're going to try to get any speed from Copper Bullet. He might be just sitting chilly and hoping to make one run, guys.
Irad, of course, yes, on Copper Bullet, the outside runner, Steve Asmussen, looking to win this one for a 4th time. He last won it back in 2010 with Cantheros. Let's send it upstairs for the load. The Grade 2 Saratoga Special. Here's the voice of the Triple Crown, Larry Colmus.
Tempestad going into the starting gate, and they'll be followed by Hollywood Star, who will take stall 3. Vino now coming up to the gate. Next will be Barry Lee, who is currently the 2-to-1 favorite under Jose Ortiz. Leaving the last 2 to load, Diamond Oops and Copper Bullet. Diamond Oops goes in. Here's Copper Bullet. And Irad Ortiz Jr. to the outside stall to complete the line. They're all in line. They're off in the Saratoga Special. Copper Bullet came out running well. Barry Lee's got speed. Bal Harbor from the inside, flashing early foot as well. Up between horses, Mo Diddley's a part of the early pace too. And then it's Diamond Oops. In behind them comes Vino, followed by Tempestad, Hollywood Star, and Cree's Brooklyn Law trails the field up the backstretch. Mo Diddley and Javier Castellano up top through a 21.73 first quarter. Barry Lee pressing the pace on the outside. Copper Bullet outside of them at the half-mile pull. Then it's Bal Harbor, followed by Diamond Oops in 5th. 3 lengths to Tempestad, Vino dropping back, Hollywood Star a good 9 lengths off the lead, and Cree's Brooklyn Law around the far turn. And here come Barry Lee and Copper Bullet up alongside of Mo Diddley, and the 3 of them race together through a 44.72 half mile. In behind them, Diamond Oops and Bal Harbor, and they're into the stretch, and it is Copper Bullet. Copper Bullet has taken the lead as they come for the final furlong here, pulling away by 2.5 lengths. Mo Diddley, Hollywood Star has made a bid and is up into second now. And then comes Bal Harbor to the outside. Copper Bullet and Hollywood Star, 1-2 down to the line. Copper Bullet runs away in the Saratoga Special. 4 lengths to the good of Hollywood Star. And then it was Tempestad, followed by Bal Harbor in 1 minute 16.45 seconds.
4th win in the Saratoga Special for trainer Steve Asmussen. Copper Bullet runs away with this race 7-2. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
You see it all the time, Greg. When the track is playing a certain way and the riders start figuring that out, and the next thing you know, they're going so quick up front that the track reverses, and that's exactly what happened for Copper Bullet. Lays off an extremely fast pace. They went the half mile in 44.72. The 2 front runners collapse. It's the outside move going around horses that wins for Copper Bullet.
Yeah, he behaved himself today too, Tom, didn't he? I mean, sort of rolled. He was a little green last time. And you know what, Andy? We talked about 10 City. I know he's the son of Runaway and Hyde, but he's a special horse for Kenny McPeak, and this horse was behind him last time.
Oh, no, this is a very nice horse. I agree. Tom said it to me as they were going down the backstretch. How does Copper Bullet lose? I was a little worried about him being 3 wide, but even with the long run-up, that was a pretty quick opening quarter. And Copper Bullet, what can you say? He was right on top of that pace, and as you said, they collapsed. This is a very, very promising horse. And, Paul, 10 City beat this horse, trip or not, but you're right. 10 City must be a good one, too.
No, he is. Kenny McPeak, I remember he was the best winner, Wolfie, at that Keeneland meet. He won by 8, and he won by a pole. 10 City beat this horse. Might have been all unlucky, but Copper Bullet showed his stuff today.
And you said a son of Runaway and Hyde?
Yes.
Won this race back in 2008 for Ronnie Werner. Copper Bullet gets the win, standing by with a winning jockey. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Greg, you're right, keeping it all in the family as far as the horses are concerned, as Daddy won this 9 years ago. But Irad, you have ridden the card on the dirt pretty much all day. Has this track changed a bit? Because you were wide and a little bit off the pace, and he cleared off and won by 5.
Well, the track is pretty fair right now. But when you have the horse, this is a nice horse. So you can lose some ground sometimes. And work out good for me. I got the 10 hole. I don't really put on my mind like save too much ground because I know I got a nice horse. Just 6.5. Try to be close, and I know I'm gonna have horses in the end. Steve, bring it ready.
And as you said, the last time this horse got inside and in trouble behind horses and just a cleaner trip, but you still said he showed a little bit of greenness, like he's still figuring everything out.
Yeah, he's a nice horse, like I told you before, but he's still learning. I think in that we're going to a turn, he's gonna make the lead, start changing his lead, like he don't know what he's gonna do. So that's when we get a turn for him. I really ask him, screaming at RB and show that he have to teach him to run on the stretch. That's what I do.
He really did run and respond very nicely. Ira, job well done here.
Thank you.
All right, Greg. Copper Bullet, he is not copper, but he looked like a bullet down the stretch.
He certainly did. He fired away once they got into the stretch and got clear like a real good runner here. Son of More Than Ready out of an Unbridled Song mare wins for Winchell Thoroughbreds. And trainer Steve Asmussen, again, trainer and owners teamed up to win this race back in 2003 with Cuvée. So he's winning the big ones here, trainer Steve Asmussen. The Whitney with Gun Runner, and he takes the Grade 2 Saratoga Special.
You look at the top 3 runners in this race, they all have pedigrees to go on the Derby Trail. Even the 6 Tempestad, who ran well, still a little green in the son of Uncle Mo, but take nothing away from Copper Bullet.
We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back with more from Saratoga right after this. Stay tuned.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
And they're off in New York, the premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Coda, they won't catch Monin. Monin wins the February Stakes.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, and Copper Bullets reigns supreme here in the Grade 2 Saratoga Special. 3-win afternoon for his jockey, Irad Ortiz Jr., and the 4th time trainer Steve Asmussen has taken this Saratoga Special here at the spa. $9.10 for the win, and this is a horse we saw getting a little rambunctious in the paddock.
Yeah, sometimes it's not a negative. He was feeling his oats today, and the son of More Than Ready, the unbridled song mare, gets the job done, and he did it in nice fashion.
Andy, Tom, very impressive run here. Now 2 wins in 4 starts for this son of More Than Ready.
Yeah, and while the Steve Asmussen barn has maybe struggled a little at Saratoga, there are 2 wins of the Whitney and the Saratoga Special, so I think things are okay for them.
Yeah, that would put me in a good mood. But let's talk about this horse. I mean, Copper Bullet, first of all, he's a really imposing-looking horse, and there's a lot to be said for that. Look, his sire, More Than Ready, we often think of him as grass. He does shuttle. He's a stallion here as well as internationally, but he throws a lot of dirt and a lot of dirt sprinters. The sire won the full brother of this race. He won the Stanford way back in the day.
Yeah, this is a very nice horse, and Gabby's standing by with the man of the hour, Steve Asmussen.
Thanks, Andy. And Steve, this horse was a little bit rambunctious. He was on his toes in the paddock, but he was super professional once the gates opened. Is that just him kind of figuring it out and learning as he goes?
Well, he's got a lot of confidence in himself. He was pretty playful in the paddock. Once he got on the racetrack, he jogged off nice and he warmed up well. Thought he was away from the gates excellent today, and Irad gave him a very good trip.
And talk about him coming down the stretch. He rated nicely, but it was a pretty hot pace, and he still had enough stamina to keep going. He looks like a good one.
He does. As you mentioned, the 21-3, the 2 horses that went early, obviously he took over coming into the stretch. I thought he stayed on well through the wire. Irad rode him on out, and he looked really good.
Obviously, he just won this race, but what do you think about him, where we could see him next?
Well, things didn't go as planned in the Bashford manner, so we targeted this, and I thought he showed up. So we'll regroup and discuss where he goes next. But obviously, we're trying to get to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile with him, and probably just one more race.
All right, well, congratulations here. Looks like a super talented horse.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Well, Steve Asmussen and Winchell Thoroughbreds, they know how to win the big ones, including Gunrunner and the Whitney.
Yeah, 2 monster wins at the meet. I think we've all touched on it, but Gunrunner, sensational in the Whitney, and Copper Bullets, maybe not as impressive, but among the 2-year-olds, it's probably been the most impressive run we've seen here this meet.
Yeah, I would
right
say
up there.
I would say so, because I think this is a good race. This is going to be a race that we're going to go look back on, and these horses are going to improve a little bit. I thought the 5 ran okay in there, actually. Cree's Brooklyn Law, the 6. You can go back and look at these replays more and more. And some of these horses don't like to pass horses at this time, and the spinning wheels. There's just no doubt about it. He's just bigger, stronger, and faster than the other horses today.
It sounds like if he wants to get just one more race into this horse before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, probably going to pass on the hopeful, you would think, and maybe try and go a mile and a 16th before that race.
Yeah, I think a mile and a 16th would be right up his alley. Now, More Than Ready was more of a miler, and he was a very good 2-year-old and 3-year-old. So, yeah, his pedigree can go long. He's got tactical speed. But, when you listen to Tom talk about, or listen to Maggie talking about how imposing he is, or Gabby, how imposing he is, that means he wants a little bit more distance. You never know. But Steve's pretty good. He knows what he's doing.
Copper Bullet, the best in the Grade 2 Saratoga Special. Meanwhile, we move along. We still got 2 more races to come here on the show. The New York Racing Association, of course, proud to offer the most extensive Spanish language content available in the entire industry. Luis Grandison has pre-race analysis and full card race calls available on the NYRA Now app, all in HD. Here's the race 6. It kicked off the NYRA Bets late pick 5.
Victoria Swire mantiene 4 largos. Segunda está Sipizun. Victoria Swire mantiene 4 largos en el comando. Sipizun cerrando fuerte. Victoria Swire sigue adelante sobre Sipizun. Victoria Swire se le mandó a cambiar a Sipizun. Tercera está finalizando Hershinger.
That was Victoria's Fire kicking off the NYRA Bets late pick 5. Finger Lakes horses continuing to do well at Saratoga.
They really have, and she took him gate to hour. She was getting leg worry late, but there you see the follow along, $170,000 in that pool. Copper Bullet, $9.10, your latest winner. So you should be alive, and hopefully you are alive, but you got a couple more left, and 9 and 10 could be tricky.
Total pool, $170,000 if you are the single winning ticket. $300,000 minimum payout on Saturdays, $150,000 minimum payout every other single day, but you must play it through NYRA Bets to take advantage of that. The only way to play it outside the state of New York is to get signed up and started with NYRA Bets. Go to nyrabets.com for that. Race 9, it's actually staying on the turf, so we have a 5.5 furlong turf sprint coming up. New York breds in an allowance optional claiming field. Noble Freud, what do you do here? Chad Brown sends out a graded stakes placed filly who is making her turf debut.
Tough call. It really is a tough call because it's just Chad Brown, and the rest of these other horses in here are very suspect.
Today, the cross-country Pick 4 is going on with NYRA Bets. You can get a 10% winner's bonus. The Pick 4 includes races from Saratoga, starts in this 9th, and races from Emerald Downs, including the Long Acres Mile. It is all coming up. Go to nyrabets.com. Take advantage of that 10% winner's bonus. Here to help us out, give us a winner perhaps in that Long Acres Mile at Emerald Downs. Let's check in with Joe Withy.
The Long Acres Mile at Emerald Downs, Seattle Serenade, my top pick. Jerry Hollendorfer trainee comes in sharp. He's won his last 2, both with William Anton Georgie aboard. Pace scenario works out great for Seattle Serenade, up on the lead or right near it throughout the race. Mach 1 Rules has been our top older horse the last 2 months, and Gold Rush Dancer started his career here. He looks great for Van Belvoir. He should run well. In our distaff, Citizen Kitty has 2 stakes wins at the meeting. She's a router. And also Little Dancer, the 3-year-old filly. Back to you, Greg, at Saratoga.
Joe, thank you very much. And Paul, what'd you come up with your ticket?
Great minds think alike. My man Joe Withy, I'm with him in the Long Acres Mile. You have to get down. Seattle Serenade is a horse that was brilliant in his first 2 starts. Then something went amiss in his 3rd career start. He was on a year layoff. It took him a while to get back in form. He always had foot issues. They brought him to Golden Gate. He won. They brought him to Oak Tree and Pleasanton. He won again. Billy Anton Georgie will be aboard. You have to get down. Races 9 and 10 at Saratoga. By the way, race 7 is the Emerald Distaff before the Long Acres Mile at Emerald Downs. So 10% bonus today.
Yeah, don't forget that. Play it through NYRA Bets. 10% winner's bonus on this cross-country Pick 4. It begins with race 9 at Saratoga, and one of the most historic races in all of the game, that Long Acres Mile, the 82nd running of that race. Coming up, Beach Patrol might just want to set up permanent shop at Arlington. A 2nd Grade 1 win in the million comes again in Chicago.
And they're off in New York. The premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Coda, they won't catch Monin. Monin wins the February Stakes.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
Welcome back to Saratoga Live here on Fox Sports 2 and various other networks across the country. Great to have you with us here on this Sunday afternoon. Grade 2 Saratoga special in the books. Of course, Saturday, it was the biggest day of the year out at Arlington. Arlington Million Day. And Chad Brown having quite an afternoon. Beach Patrol ended a streak of 6 consecutive losses, picking up second grade 1. Both of them have come at Arlington after winning the Secretariat.
I'll tell you what, Joel Rosario carried this son of Lemon Drop kid across the wire. You know, he deserved this. He shouldn't have lost the Turf Classic. I can't believe Devisa Darrow beat him that day. Camelot Kitten snuck up the fence on him in the Hill Prince. The Hollywood Dirtle, Annals of Time beat him, and he was about time that this horse got his due and got the trophy.
Yeah, no, I agree, Paul. He's been unlucky. I'm talking to his owner, Sal Kuman, the other night, and I said to Sal, he's just been unlucky. Like you said, he should have won the Turf Classic, probably should have won the UN, and he got the right trip in this race, but Deauville had no excuses down the inside.
Yeah, a bit wide down the backside. Maybe got pressed by the 4 a little bit to have to improve his position sooner than he wanted. But you said it, Andy. Deauville had no excuse, slipped through on the rail, easier trip for him, and couldn't get there.
No, this is a very nice horse, Beach Patrol. And the thing about him is he seems to show up and run well every single time, whether he wins or loses. And those are the kind of horses, obviously, you want to have in your barn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, in the Secretariat, Oscar Performance coming up big for Brian Lynch, and that horse just continues to do his thing. He was coming off a win in the Grade 1 Belmont Derby at 1.25 miles, and he just keeps on rolling.
Yeah, well, he gets to do his thing, right? He was pressed most of the way here. I thought this was a very, no pun intended, good performance. You know, which sometimes when he gets headed, he really doesn't like it. He wants to be on the front end by himself. I thought this was a better looked effort than some of his other ones. He's rolling right now, this horse.
And he showed he could rate outside a horse, which he's done before in the Breeders' Cup out in the clear. But I have a question for everybody here. Let's say we get another oddball result in the Travers, maybe even another one in the Pennsylvania Derby. And Oscar Performance should go to New York and beat the older horses in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic as a race they're considering. Could he end up being the 3-year-old champion?
Well, he'd be the first 3-year-old champion to be a turf horse, in my opinion. Look, Oscar Performance was dominant yesterday at Arlington Park and showed that he can lay off the pace a little bit. He wants to be close. He wants to be outside that pace setter if there's one in there, but he is a dominant 3-year-old on the grass.
I'm just wondering if these guys think that he could be 3-year-old champ, and of course, I'm also wondering if they think Tacita got a little lucky that Grand Jeté got blocked in traffic in the Beverly D.
Yeah, we're going to show you the Beverly D now. Tacita did get this victory here. Rad Ortiz Jr. aboard, but keep your eyes on the 5 down on the inside at the rail with the pink cap. Brutal trip, nowhere to go. Eventually, he's going to swing outside and run huge.
Yeah, just got nowhere to go. And these big type of races, they'll let you play a little bit more. I mean, she is full of run. And once he gets her outside, or actually between horses and got some clearance, watch her start rolling here. But obviously, the winner gets to jump on her on this day. A little bit unlucky.
Quite an afternoon for the man who is standing by with Gabby Gaudet, an Arlington Million victory and a Beverly D win as well.
It sure was a nice day for Saul Kuman and the Windy City, Chicago, going out there yesterday and taking the Beverly D and the Arlington Million. And talk a little bit about Tacita. What a great performance with her getting up in the nick of time there.
She ran unbelievable. I mean, we finally got some good firm ground for her. She was, had come out of the race at Woodbine last year and just wasn't really quite herself. Not the same form she was in last summer. So it was nice to, Chad had said the last couple of months she was training better, and it was good to get her into the spot. We had a good post. IRAD gave her a great ride, and you kind of saw that turn of foot that we saw last year in the Diana, and it was just awesome to see. It was a great win.
You got that win in the back pocket, and you moved forward and got another victory there in the Arlington Million. Beach Patrol, he's really danced a lot of dances, but he's been unlucky this year. How did it feel to finally get another score?
Oh, it was awesome. It was a great win. Obviously nice to get him back to Arlington where he loves the track. It was the home of his last win. He's a tremendous horse. I mean, he's got a ton of heart, always fires, always battles. Just when you think he's kind of toast, he keeps fighting and keeps grinding away. And, you're exactly right. He's been super unlucky this year. I think we got, you know, we really the United Nations was a good spot for him, and it just didn't work out for us. So we got obviously the trip that we needed yesterday, and it was a great win. Obviously, it's a really fun race, and winning those two back-to-back was, you know, kind of a dream.
And you got right back here to Saratoga, I know a place that you love, and you're running this filly, Noble Freud. Talk a little bit about her. A good race last time out in the victory ride. What's the thought process in taking her to the turf today?
You know, we thought she was a dirt horse. We bought her as a dirt horse. Obviously, you know, good family on the female side. We bought her out of her first race, and you know, after Irad got offered the last time, he kind of looked at us and kind of gave Chad the, hey boss, this horse is better on the turf. Let's try the turf. So we have absolutely no idea what to expect. I was just having a sandwich with Chad, and he said, you think we can win? I said, I don't know. What do you think? Can the horse run on the turf? He goes, I don't know. I should have maybe breezed her on the turf once. So she might take to it great, and she might run dead last. So we'll have to see, but we're going to try it.
All right. Well, best of luck here.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Maybe Maggie will have more information, her thoughts on Noble Freud getting to the turf.
I don't know if I know more than the owner and the trainer here, but Saul Kuman, what a great guy to have in the game. Just always wearing a smile, and has gotten lucky in this game, but really appreciates every single win that he does get. And we'll take a look at Noble Freud trying the turf for the first time. As he said, there's not much pedigree to like it on the bottom side. Then again, maybe those horses, and they were very good, didn't give any chances to try it. But she is a Freud, a daughter of Freud, and that's not a bad influence whatsoever. I'm also wondering if maybe the distance is really what she wants. You know, they don't ride around here for New York breds and Saratoga 5.5 sprints on the dirt. They ride them here on the turf course, and she's just a smaller, very much built downhill type of filly where the shorter the distance, I think, the better for her. So we'll see what she can do here, and really she's not facing that much in the competition department, as we'll check in with maybe one that should be a shorter price as well here in number 3. It's in the stars for trainer Mark Cassia. She puts just a shortcut blinker on here for her 5th start of her career. I thought she was kind of unlucky. She was just involved in that kind of blanket finish last time. I like this filly. I think there's some talent in there, and obviously she's shown that the 5.5 is kind of an ideal distance for her, and maybe just those shortcut blinkers will just give her the extra oomph, the little more focus that she needs. But Andy, what are your thoughts about the big question here with Noble Freud handling the turf?
You know, Maggie, I think that you made a very good point about the 5.5 distance. The shorter may be the better for her. I'm not a fan of this filly, Tom. You know, I just think she's okay, and I wonder with that pedigree why she sold for only $30,000. And it feels to me like they're running her on the turf because it's like, she's not good enough to win the race. She's going to be on the dirt. Let's take a shot. And I'm not taking 6-5 on that thing.
Well, I think she could win any other than on the dirt. So, I mean, there are other options. The one thing that was said in the interview we just watched was, hey, maybe we should have tried her on the grass in practice. And of course you should have, right? I mean, I'm not questioning the connections. They know what they're doing a lot better than I do. But you want to see evidence that this horse likes the grass. They are absolutely rolling the dice and trying something that this horse has never done before. Look, the broodmare sire, hook and ladder, you're not going to find much turf there.
No, she's a Freud. That helps. But the dam side, this is not turf. Now, the 6-horse first appeal. Listen, I didn't like her last time, and I was wrong. But she has gotten 2 absolutely perfect setups in a row. She's gotten fast paces, and she's gotten dream trips where she's saved ground every step and angled out in those races. I can't take her as the backup horse. That's why I'm going a little crazy here in boxing 238.
I don't know. I think this is actually a very strong finish. Look, you want to say the pace was fast, that's fine. But this is the horse that's just finishing well and on a 3-race win streak. Confidence is everything with horses.
But do you want 5-2 on her stepping up, trying to go through her conditions 3 straight races?
Well, we can look elsewhere.
I am looking elsewhere. I'm going to go a little crazy here.
Post parade coming up, and here is Andromeda's Risk, 39-1 on the board, and it is Luis Perez in the irons.
Has never run well in any of her 5 turf starts.
Yeah, never hit the board in 5 turf tries. The 2, Aussie Prayer, 17-1 for Ray Handel with Manny Franco.
Yeah, this is the only horse in the field that's being offered for a claim price of $25,000, and the reason for that is because she's already done it. She's already won this type of race, and she did it right here at Saratoga.
Look out, Mark Cassie Barn woke up yesterday in the 4-star Dave. They send out It's in the Stars. Blinkers go on with Javier Castellano.
They were able to get away on the front end while the pace looked strong. The pace held together, and she ran okay to be 4th in there. I think she has a big shot to come running and get it done today.
Joe Lestrito sends out Linny B. Dylan Davis will be aboard.
Liddy B, excuse me, tries the turf for the first time. She would have to improve dramatically. Is a half to 2 turf winners.
Second off the claim for Joe Listrito. Here's first appeal. 3-race win streak for Linda Rice and Jose Lizcano.
Yeah, still has to step forward today, but you have to respect that this is a horse that's gotten to the winner's circle in her last 3 starts.
Ragazza de Papa came off a year's layoff, put on blinkers, and second start this year got a win for Jeremiah Englehart.
But she's stepping up significantly in company in today's race.
Same kind of crazy. Taking play on the board here at 7-1. Blinkers go on for Bruce Brown.
Yeah, I think the idea there with the blinkers on is that they would like to keep this horse a little bit closer early in the race to help that finish.
And 6-5 on the turf experiment here with Noble Freud. Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride.
As Harvey Pack used to say, never bet a horse trying to do something it's never done before as the favorite, as she's 6-5 trying the grass the first time.
And Rock Avenue Road, big long shot to the outside out there somewhere. That 10 for Rodrigo Ubillo, who comes in off a win, 9th time out. Finally broke through and got that maiden score, guys.
There she is right there. Yeah, here's a horse that broke a maiden and now has to step up to face winners. A tough, tough jump.
So that is your field here for race 9. This one remaining on the grass. Of course, the nightcap taken off the turf. Our favorite, Noble Freud, trying the turf for the first time for Chad Brown.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide at NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back here on Saratoga Live, National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame right across the street here from Saratoga. I want to remind everybody to keep playing with NyraBets after this card ends here at the spot with a 250,000 point all split on the 5th from Del Mar. Just bet a $10 base exacta in race 5 at Del Mar and win or lose, split 250,000 points. A easy way to get your Del Mar betting off to a great start. Coming up here on this 9th race, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. With more, let's go to Maggie.
Ah! Oh my gosh, okay. We just had a little anxious moment here with the horse I was gonna start things off with. First appeal, she got a little rambunctious as she turned around to go the wrong way. Now that I'm out of the Outriders' way, that's nice. But thanks, Jose. But honestly, she caught my eye, guys, warming up. She was kind of getting over the track very nicely. And I like what I see from her. She's a very logical use in this spot here. Now, another one that kind of caught my eye, maybe for more negative reasons until First Appeal tried to run me over, was number 7, Ragazza di Papa, in here for Jeremiah Engelhardt. Now, she got a very aggressive warm-up, but it was more under her own doing rather than Louis Saez asking for it. She kind of galloped away with her head straight up in the air. She's gotten a little hot. Now, she's a filly who has speed, so I'm sure she's going to leave there running today. That's every sign that she's given me here. But will she have enough left in the tank to get her to the wire? I'm just a little worried. She's expended a little too much energy pre-race. Greg?
All right, we're glad you're okay, Maggie. That's why we're up here on the desk, and Maggie's doing what she's doing.
Yeah, amazing. Get on horseback and got to stay out of harm's way. And there you see, Mags.
Microphone, notes, handling the horseback, and doing it all brilliantly.
I'm in agreement, by the way, with the guys down the set. Listen, you land on Chad Brown, and you see American Gal, but this 9-horse, the last 3 races are confusing to me. She's found ways to lose, and I just don't know if it's the right horse. I do think the 8, Same Kind of Crazy, could be a horse that you could play here at 7-1. I thought was Giant last time, got left and sort of circled around horses and is in pretty good form since going on the turf. Blinkers go on. You see the 9 there, Noble Freud, looks well. It's a tough read. You're really gambling at 7-5. You see the pick bar go up.
Yeah, we were talking about Same Kind of Crazy, guys. The 8, that was a really wide trip and a decent finish in that most recent effort.
I agree with both of you. I think that Same Kind of Crazy's a player in here. You know, listen, Noble Freud can win this race. If you love somebody, whoever it is, you would have protectively put the 9 on top of that horse in the exacta, but it's a good chance to take a shot against her. If the race falls apart, Same Kind of Crazy fits the bill.
Fits the bill, and again, blinkers on, change of equipment here. I think the idea here is to get this horse a little bit closer to the pace that's going to be set by Noble Freud, the 9-horse. That's the speed of the race. If she takes to the turf, you're going to know it early on in this race. She's going to look good going over it and clear this group. If she doesn't take to the turf, you're going to know that real quick, too.
We'll see what happens with her. She is awfully fast early. I think Aussie Prayer's a player in here. I use 2, 3, 8 in a small pick 4 play, and I'm going to box them in the exacta and just try to fool around with some prices. You go back, throw out her last race in the dirt. It's not a dirt horse. 2 of her last 3 turf figures make her a player in this race if you don't like the favorite.
And if you take that dirt race out, this is a filly that's dropping in class. She won this race last year at Saratoga. The only reason she's allowed to run it again is that she's being offered up for the claim of $25,000, and it's a logical move. You ran bad on the dirt. Why not offer them for the claim? Nobody's going to claim her out of this race, and you get a chance to run in a race you've already won in.
And she's 14-1.
And Tom makes a great point on Noble Freud. These horses that get on the turf for the first time, you're going to know within the first 100 yards whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, good point. Well, you know, we talked about the 3, It's in the Stars, and the 8, Same Kind of Crazy. They're coming out of the same race. So the price on the 3, 7-2. The price on the 8, 7-1. And I feel like Same Kind of Crazy, the 8 at the bigger number, ran the much better race, having to go so wide.
You could argue it was very good. I mean, they were both somewhat very wide. You could argue that they were about the same. So I'm with you. I think the price should be closer.
About to load up. Will Noble Freud be able to handle the turf here? The public seems to think so. 7-5. Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz Jr. teaming up for Head of Plains Partners. We will see what happens. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call, Larry Colmus.
Ragazza di Papa is in the starting gate. Here comes It's in the Stars, Same Kind of Crazy. Linny B moving in. Waiting for the favorite Noble Freud and Rock Avenue Road. 7-5 on Noble Freud, who goes in. Rock Avenue Road will be the last one. Steps forward to the outside stall. Hesitates just a bit here as Rock Avenue Road, but now is in there. And they're all in line. They're off. Noble Freud had a very good start. Straight to the front for Noble Freud. And then it's Aussie Prayer away running in second position toward the inside. Linny B now splits horses. Aussie Prayer gets shuffled back. Farther out is Same Kind of Crazy with Ragazza di Papa. Up the backstretch they go. Noble Freud is the leader. 3/4 of length ahead of Same Kind of Crazy running in third. Ragazzi di Papa's on the outside of Linny B. Rock Avenue Road behind them. Then Aussie Prayer, First Appeal, followed by It's in the Stars and Andromeda's Risk. 22.38 was the first quarter. Around the far turn, Noble Freud, Same Kind of Crazy. These two are going to turn for home together. Rock Avenue Road is third. Aussie Prayer cuts the corner in fourth. They're into the stretch. Noble Freud trying to hold on to this lead from Same Kind of Crazy, who's now a length behind. And It's in the Stars is gaining ground on the far outside. Noble Freud by 3, though. Same Kind of Crazy, It's in the Stars on the inside, Rock Avenue Road, and First Appeal. Noble Freud does it by 2.5 on the wire. It's in the Stars next. First Appeal and Same Kind of Crazy. A 4-bagger for Irad Ortiz Jr.
Well, it's Noble Freud. Guys saying that we would know early if she liked the turf, and we knew the first couple of steps out of the gate.
I got to say, I want to watch this again from the 5/16 pole because I must have been mislooking at it. Both Tom and I thought that Noble Freud was finished around the 5/16 pole, and she came back on for the easy victory. She's a talented filly. She found the right field, and she took to the turf.
Who says practice on the turf counts? Just put them on there, and they'll win. Ran an awesome race today.
I'm with you guys. Right here, look at the 8-hatter Swallow. The 8 was by her by a length right here, and then Irad took a peek to the right. He sort of flagged her one time right here, and the acceleration, obviously better on the turf than it's been on the dirt.
Strange race watching it. I agree, Paul. You're looking at it. In fact, I had used the 2, and I was afraid that Noble Freud might back up into her. Good call by me.
Noble Freud, first try on the turf, and she excels.
Wow.
Impressive performance. And for this afternoon for Irad Ortiz Jr., I see Maggie Wolfendale on the scene. There's Chad Brown looking on, gets another winner. Let's go to Maggie.
I'm just going to hand the microphone over here. Irad, it's your show.
Oh.
Congratulations, 3rd win in a row. You got to be tired of talking to me by now, but we heard Sol Kumin say that you said that you thought this filly would like the turf. She certainly did today.
Yes, she's been running good, but I feel like she got more than what she was given to me in the dirt. She come comfortable, and when I asked her, she fell apart. So she's by through. So I guess she can like the turf, and she act like she's turf. So we give her a chance. I told the trainer, told the owner, they give the opportunity and work out good for us.
And I know just by my little of breezing horses, you know, when you have a turf horse and they get off the bridle, that's when they fall apart. Is that what she was doing with you on the main track?
Yes, a little bit. So that's what I think she probably is turf. So.
And she looked as though she was done. The guy saying that she was almost swallowed up as they turned for home, but you asked her and she responded and won on fairly impressively.
Yeah, she did. When I asked him today, she gave me big turn foot on the stretch. She never do it before, so I think she liked the turf. I want to say thanks to the owner and the trainer for trust me and believe me when I told him the grass. So I want to say thanks to Sol Kumin. He helped me a lot.
All right, not only are you a good rider, but you are a good judge of a horse. So well done. You're getting Noble Freud to the winner's circle.
Thank you.
All right, Greg.
Not only sharp young rider, but making calls as well for placement.
Yeah, I have to go to the bottom of the set for this at Tom Amos. I know you love listening to the jockeys, but how many times do you take an opinion from a jockey and go, hey, stick this horse on the turf course. I really think this horse is going to like it.
That's where my mind is right now. Both Irad and Jose Ortiz, look, they're young, so I get it. They're very, very talented, but they're so much more mature and knowledgeable than their years. I mean, they literally are so unique. The only one I can compare them to in the athletic world is maybe Tiger Woods taking over professional golf in his first couple of years. He just was so savvy and knew so much other than just how to play golf. These kids know a lot more than just how to ride.
Well, they're sensational. They do their homework. They study. They know everybody in the race, and they each won a race on Arlington Million Day, come right back here, and they're winning again. Irad Ortiz Jr. with 4 on the day. We're going to play Fact or Fiction with the guys when we come back. Stay tuned.
Claiborne Farms Flatter is carrying the flag for AP Indy, rewarding breeders in the sales ring and on the track. Among the nation's leading sires by Grade 1 stakes horses in 2016, this year's stars include Terrace, Upstart, Kobe's Back, Amy's Flatter, And most recently, Paola Queen, winner of the Grade 1 Test Stakes at Saratoga. Success on the track has led to big numbers in the auction ring as well, with yearlings this year selling up to $425,000. Flatter at Claiborne Farm.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before. Back on Saratoga Live, race 9 in the books, and sometimes you just got to try something new and take a shot, and that's what Chad Brown did with the filly Noble Freud, trying the turf for the first time, gets the job done, got to the lead early. As guys point out, looked like she was going to get inhaled by Same Kind of Crazy and finds more. Let's go downstairs to Gabby, standing by with a winning trainer.
Well, Greg, we're talking to this man so much, we might have to add him to the payroll. At least I am talking to you quite often here in the Winner's Circle, Chad. But all jokes aside, Noble Freud, prior to the race, Saul Kuman was mentioning that Irad kind of came back off the filly and said she might do better with turf. Good experiment today.
It was. Yeah, he got off the horse last time. He says, you know, we want to try that. She's running fine on the dirt, but you know, maybe we should give him a little extra kick if she runs on some firmer ground under her, and proved to be true.
Were you surprised with how quick she was out of the gate? She went to the lead, and she looked like she was relishing the course.
Not really. She's ultra fast out of the gate. From the first time she got transferred to us, she's been super quick. And I already had a plan on the paddock, so I'm just going to leave out of there and take them all the way. I'm not going to mess around, and it worked.
And I would imagine we're going to see her next start, perhaps on the turf.
I would think so, but she ran just well enough on the dirt. It depends on what's available, and she's already stakes placed on the dirt. I hope there's some stakes for her on the turf to keep her on the surface, but I think you'll see a little of both with her in the future.
All right, well, thanks for joining me once again, Chad. Congratulations.
Anytime. If I'm talking to you, we're doing good.
If he's talking to me, he's in the winner's circle, and that's a good sign.
Well, he could probably take a permanent residence there the way he wins around the country, and certainly here at this meet, the reigning leading trainer here at the meet. First time ever he won this Saratoga meeting. I know had such special meaning to him. Our nightcap coming up is a race that's been taken off the turf. It's now on the main track, mile and a 16th, $40,000 maiden claiming event, and field has been severely reduced, so don't forget the main track only. It's a big boy for Todd Pletcher.
getting into play right now, I think, because of that. But strong side, the 3, does have good dirt numbers, so that horse will stay strong, no pun intended, at least at the tote board.
And John Velasquez will be aboard there. I guess the good news for everybody else in here, Noah Rat Ortiz Jr. coming up in this finale here. He's had 4 in the afternoon. He's overtaken his younger brother, Jose, back for the riding title here. It's just past the midway point of the meet.
We got 31-32, and there's the trainer standings, 24-22, and that's going to be a battle to the end. And to get back to Tom's point, I know you've watched so many races here, Andy. These Ortiz kids, when it comes to being an athlete, anticipation is the key, and both of these kids got unbelievable anticipation.
Well, coming up on Saturday, it is the Alabama. Of course, this was a sensational race. Last year, it was won by the great Songbird, and now we have the Mother Goose winner for Brian Lynch, Unchained Melody guys, pointing towards this, who worked on Friday in 5 furlongs, 101 and 3.
You know, we've been spending so much time talking about the Travers, which is going to be an awesome race. We have not given the love to this year's Alabama that deserves. This is going to be one of the best runnings of the Alabama I can ever remember. 9 are expected to come, including 2 from Belmont. But this horse, Unchained Melody, I have been incredibly impressed with her. Greg and I have watched her win a couple of races in New York, including the Mother Goose. I think she is a superstar in the making.
Well, you watched her warm up on the racetrack. When you see those horses jogging out there, that's equivalent to you or I, Andy, loosening up before we're going to go for a run. And here she is coming to the finish line in a mild fashion. Looks good doing it. You know, what about the transition to 2 turns for her?
Well, that is a good question, and she's going to have to pass that test for sure. She's going to have to pass the 1.25 mile test. And we know Holy Helena, one of her chief rivals, can get the distance, though we don't know how effectively on dirt. But I tell you what, she's got a gear. She's fast early, but then horses have come to her in the stretch of both of her last 2 races, and she's just kicked it in again. So you watch her, you don't get the feeling that distance and 2 turns is going to be a problem. I think we can add a horse to that list. I think Elate is supposedly coming as well, who finished the close second, Abel Tasman. This is going to be a thrilling Alabama.
Yeah, Unchained Melody looked very smooth galloping by.
Yeah, and Lockdown, who was second to her last time out, she had some trouble at the start in the Mother Goose. I mean, you look through, Holy Helena beat the boys in winning the Queen's Plate at 1.25 miles. She has to do it on the dirt, but she broke her maiden at Belmont on the dirt, so we know she's good. And New Money Honey, who's won $2 million races, both of them grade 1s. One of them the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf, and the other one are Belmont Oaks. But this is one that I know Chad Brown has thought about running the dirt, because he actually thought about running her in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies on the dirt last year.
We just saw him take a horse that's never run on the grass and make a great grass debut. That'll be the opposite here with New Money Honey, who you're watching win. I believe this is the Belmont Oaks we're looking at right here. She's going to make her first start on the dirt.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a free roll for the connections, because they're missing the Lake Placid. She could run the Lake Placid. She's already won the grade 1s. She's not really missing. She can still go back to the turf, point for the Queen Elizabeth at Keeneland in the fall. If she were to win this race, it ups her value extremely. So this is a good free roll, and it's a good filly.
The other part about that, too, Andy, here's the other part. Did they put her just around 2 turns because there was no dirt races when she was a 2-year-old? You know, that's the thing about New Money Honey. They maybe just didn't have any dirt races. They wanted her to go to long when she first started.
Yeah, Chad Brown has always been confident in her ability as a turf horse. But as you say, Paul, you're right. They couldn't have done that at Saratoga, and she was precocious and could go long. But the way he's talked about this horse as possibly running on the dirt, it's an unusual move for him. He must have confidence. But she still has to go to the track and do it, Greg.
Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner. She's won back-to-back graded stakes, including the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks Invitational. And now they're going to put her on the dirt in the Alabama. Just extra intrigue to what should be a sensational race coming up next Saturday here in the Alabama at Saratoga. Game show time. We are going to play another round of Fact or Fiction. Let's get Andy and Tom ready downstairs. The rules very simple. Quick answer to the question. Brief response. We want each of you to answer. First question, I'll start with Andy. The Travers will be won by one of the 3 Triple Crown race winners. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Whoa.
You know,
care to expound on that?
You know, I'm
like the previous
I'm
winner.
not giving up on cloud computing now.
There you go.
What kind of idiot do you think I am? I'm going down with the ship. I think he deserves another chance. I'm not saying I'm confident this will happen, but I think he has a chance. I've got Tapper to throw in the mix, and who knows, maybe always dreaming, though I'm dubious.
Tom, we needed a response from you. You disagree?
Look, I mean, if any one of those 3 has the best chance, it's the Belmont winner, Tappert. Cloud Computing's got to make a major comeback. although he's prepared well in practice, don't forget, in practice you're going about 70 to 80% of what you actually do in a race. So you can be fooled by how a horse trains and how a horse works when you put him in the starting gate.
Tom, I want a fact or fiction. I don't care about all that.
Fiction!
Thank you. I'm going to go with Tom on that one. He wins round one. All right, we're going to start with Tom on this one. The winner of today's Saratoga Special will win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Fact or fiction?
Copper Bullet will not win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I think this is a horse that's more eligible to run middle distances. Wouldn't be surprised if he tries the Champagne to keep him at a one-turn distance, but no, he does not win the two-turn Breeders' Cup.
I'm with Tom on this, and I think this is a very, very good horse. He's my early favorite for the Allen Jerkins in 2018.
Wow, what's the future book on that?
I don't know. I'm interested in taking it, but I think he's a wonderful horse. But I'm a little skeptical of being a two-turn effective horse as well.
All right, fact or fiction, we're going to go back to Andy to start on this one. Songbird, we heard, coming to Saratoga. Songbird will win the Personal Ensign.
I think you know the answer to this, Greg. I'm going to say, if I said fact, maybe Greg would fall off the roof. Fiction.
Fiction. And fiction why? Songbird is coming here because we just ran a stakes race, a Grade 2 stakes race, that the winner is not going to come back in this kind of race. There were only 2 other participants. Songbird is coming here because it's going to be a very small field. She owns this racetrack. And Andy, she owns this division and owns you.
My man, she does own me. There's no doubt about that. My man Dallas Stewart's going to beat her with Forever Unbridled.
Can I book your action, Andy?
You can book my action anytime, Greg.
We got one final question. This is for Tom. We saw you saddling your horse, Lone Sailor. This was from the 7th yesterday. Tom, fact or fiction, Lone Sailor would have won if he'd shown more speed and if Colton, Mississippi, Roaming Union, and Wyattstown had all scratched.
Wow. I think Lone Sailor would have hit the board. I think he would have hit the board if those 3 had scratched. Whether he won or not, I want more distance, so I say fiction. He needed the race.
My fact is that he will win his next start for Tom Amoss.
I like that.
And my fact is that we found a new star in the making in Tom Amoss, throwing him in the paddock, saddling his horse while he talked about it on the show. That was tremendous stuff. Thanks for playing, guys. Well done. I got to give that, was it a tie? Just because of that first question, I'm going to have to go with Tom Amoss as our winner.
Has Tom Amoss said fact or fiction yet?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But he still won. Post-parade for the finale is coming up. 10th race taken off the turf. We'll have the post-parade when we return. Stick around.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NyraBets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NyraBets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NyraBets.com.
Back on Saratoga Live, on the right, longtime valet here on the New York racing circuit, Harry Rice, and his son Harry Rice III, who has been indispensable to us on our show as a production assistant. He is leaving us on Tuesday, heading back for his senior year at Penn State. I can't say go Nittany Lions, but I wish him a tremendous senior year.
Yeah, man, what a tremendous kid he is. We're going to miss him as well. And his father, one of the great characters around the racetrack here, and one of my faves.
Yeah, who, among, I'm sure, several others, but took tremendous care of Mike Smith over the years.
100%. Was Mikey's valet for a long time. And good luck in your senior year, man. Get it over with.
Yeah, get it over with. We expect to see you back here ASAP.
That's true.
40 maiden claiming race coming up, mile and a 16th here in this finale. It's a big boy. We mentioned a main track only entrant in here, John Velasquez riding for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, maybe favorite by default in here, guys. I mean, 6-5, I get it. The main track only horse in here. But 4.5 to 1 for a Pletcher horse and a 9-horse field. I don't know at 6-5. I think this horse is beatable.
Harry Rice's son.
We'll get back down to the guys here in a moment. Yeah, it's obviously a big red flag. I mean, it was the debut for this horse at Gulfstream, right, June 18th. I didn't think ran that terrible first time out. You didn't want to see if there's anything else in the tank before you give the horse up for 40?
Well, the truth of the matter is you pay $250,000 for a horse, okay? You want to check off all the boxes, right? Horse ran one time and now drops for 40. It's a negative. I know this is an off-the-turf event, and by default, but it's still a negative.
Now with more on It's a Big Boy, let's head to the paddock with Maggie.
And Greg, before I get into It's a Big Boy, I just have to echo you and Paulie's sentiments about Harry Rice Jr. He has been indispensable, and he better come back and work for us next summer here. So I'm going to miss him dearly for the latter half of the Saratoga meeting. But taking a look at It's a Big Boy, making only his second start. Now, physically, he looks like a horse that should like going the 1.8 mile distance as it comes off the turf here, and he gets it. He's a longer, scopier type of horse, so we'll see. I'm a little bit concerned for the fact that this is his second start, and he's still kind of talking to everybody and kind of screaming, so showing a little bit of signs of greenness, at least in the paddock here. He can get out on the track and just be completely normal. But other than that, I think he's a deserving favorite here, and shouldn't have a problem negotiating the 1.8 miles. Now, to his outside, the other MTO horse, and that is Holland Road, who he's faced some okay maiden fields, whether it be on the turf or on the main track, and Mike Dilger saying, well, I guess he doesn't like the turf, so let's go MTO, let's drop down for a tag here, and he really looks good here. And furthermore, he's a horse that, I don't know, physically has struck me that the longer he goes, the better, and maybe he just wants the longer on the main track, and hopefully he can use some of that speed that he's shown in some of his efforts in his first start and his last start. But then again, they were kind of his more poor efforts. So he's a bit of a head scratcher, but at least he fits in the maiden claiming ranks here. Andy, what are your opinions here? Do the MTOs kind of stand tall above the rest?
You know, it's a good question, Maggie, and I am interested in the 13, and Tom and I will talk about him in a moment. It's a big boy. He may win this race. He probably is going to be stalking strong side, which I don't think is going to help his chances. I got to tell you, though, Tom, a Todd Pletcher first-time starter in mid-June at Gulfstream that went off at 9-2, they must not think much of this horse.
Yeah, look, I think Todd Pletcher is one of the best at being ahead of his horses if he thinks their career is not going to last long, if they're going downhill a little bit. And that's the way you win with horses that drop. You need to be ahead of what they are. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if It's a Big Boy just dominates his field and everybody walks out of this track thinking, what in the heck did he run him for a $40,000 claim for? But you look down the line, it'll have been the right move.
Tom, I won't be surprised when he wins either. I would book him at 4-5, however, before I bet him.
And
I think he's terrible
totally
value.
disagree with,
Really?
with the guys upstairs. I have to say this right now. Harry, take your time in school. If you can stretch out that last year into 2, you should do it. Don't be in a hurry. That's my tip of the day.
And why would anybody be in a hurry to get back and hang around us? Strong side, and actually the 13, Holland Road, ran in the same race, I believe, at Aqueduct behind Outplay, our Curlin winner, on the Wood Memorial card. That was a card that was very tilted towards speed. But the thing is, strong side has speed, and he has inside position. I think he is a major threat to wire this field for trainer Chris Englehart, and I think it's 7-2 versus even money on the 12. He's a much better play.
Well, he's pulling the move that oftentimes leads to the winner's circle. He's making a drop in class. This will be his first time to run for a maiden claim. He's been running maiden allowance. Chris Ingles had him for 2 races. This will be his second start. He gave him 1 shot at the maiden allowance level, and now here he is running for the maiden 40 claim.
I think it's much kind of a toss-up between these two, and he's big value on the board right now. If I felt the track were fair and I didn't worry that maybe an outside trip and a closing trip would hinder Holland Road's chances, and I'm still going to bet him, Tom, because he's a big price. When Holland Road ran his 1 dirt race, it was actually the best race he ever ran. He finished just behind Strongside. Strongside was forwardly placed on a racetrack you needed to be forwardly placed on. He was coming from well back, so I don't think he ran that badly in his 1 dirt race. Mike Dilger had a nice winner here the other day. I think he's a dangerous horse dropping in for a maiden claiming race the first time.
Well, his last 2 races were on the turf. Put a line through those. Look at his race before that on the dirt. I think that's important. We also have to mention here, Andy, as we talk about the track, that this race now becomes a 1.1 miles on the dirt, and that is very, very important. I mean, not only are we changing surfaces, but we're getting to a distance that some horses are bred to do and some are not, 1.1 miles.
But I worry that if it's an inside track and you're outside for 2 turns, it could be tougher. I'm not sure. What do you think upstairs?
Paul, you have any thoughts on that?
No, not really. I mean, going to 1.1 miles is key, though. You know, it's who is going to get the distance. You look at some of these horses. I'm with Andy, man. The 12, 1 start, now is going to have to go 1.1 miles today. He wins, he wins. I get it. Holland Road, you know, been big prices the last 2 times. 76 to 1 and 90 to 1 on the turf to 13. So those other races, that 1-turn mile at Aqueduct was good. But a lot of these horses, it's going to be a stagger fest home.
Yeah, you would think, and I just think strong side the 3 becomes the play in this race.
Should be the favorite.
3 to 1.
Should be the favorite. 100% should be the favorite. You know, the horse has got good dirt form. And here's the thing. He's got good dirt form around 2 turns. No one else in here has anything like that, and that bodes well.
It's Todd Pletcher leaving our screen. Always well-dressed and having a sensational Saratoga meeting. He has the main track only runner. It's a big boy. Even money, that is just surprising this horse is that short a price.
Well, everybody sees main track only. The race is off the turf, and a lot of people point to the main track onlys, and then boom, there sits Todd Pletcher, and that's why this horse is even money.
I thought a lot of people would see that the 3 strong side, I know even it was a distant second, but second to outplay, winner of the Curlin, who's going to run in the Travers most likely for Todd Pletcher, and that horse would get all the play.
Yeah, the second against Virtual Machine beats this race. The time before that beats this field. That's around 2 turns, too, both races. So I think by the end of this, the 3 should be your favorite, but even money, strong play on the 12.
Post-parade coming up for our nightcap here on this Sunday afternoon. And we're going to start with Cape Angel here. Robbie Alvarado will ride for trainer Joe Sharp. It's first off the claim. Comes in from Churchill Downs, son of Cape Blanco.
A new gelding, a little bit interesting in this spot. Ran well enough on the dirt 2 back, his 1 dry dirt race. Give him a chance.
Strong side, the 3 to 1 on the board. Jose Lezcano riding for Chris Engelhart.
I think he's the one that benefits the most of coming off the turf. His dirt races are good and should win this.
6 to 1 on the 4, Praise the Moon, owned by Richard Harris. And it's Chris DiCarlo riding, blinkers on.
Actually has a dirt race that gives him a chance, but most of them probably not good enough.
Golden Away, the 5 in our screen here, son of Giants Causeway, Eric Cancel rides.
This is a horse that's, I think, doesn't benefit, is way better at turf horse, so 20 to 1 is generous. This horse should be about 40 to 1.
Pawn It Back is the 9, trained by James Ferraro with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Another horse in here that has a big shot. Maybe it'll show a little speed, but might like the distance, the 1.1 miles more than the others.
Here's the main track only. It's John Velasquez aboard for Todd Pletcher and Starlight Racing.
Ran in a sort of mediocre field first time out at Gulfstream Park. Drops down for Todd Pletcher. Can certainly win, but seems to be way overbet.
And Holland Road, the 13. Joel Rosario aboard for Michael Dilger.
1 dirt start, not bad. And you're getting 6 to 1, and you are getting a top-end rider in Joel Rosario.
So that's your field here for the nightcap. Standing by with the connections of the main track only even money favorite. Let's go to Gabby.
Thanks, Greg. Here with Jack Wolf with Starlight Racing. And Jack, it's a beautiful evening here at Saratoga. What do you love so much here about Saratoga?
Evenings like this, having a horse in, it's probably even money, so everything's good.
And talking about this horse, it's a big boy. He's posted to the outside. His debut was down at Gulfstream against Maiden Special Weight Company. What can you tell us about him coming into this race?
I think he's going to like the additional distance. Obviously, we're dropping him in for a tag, and Todd likes to put him where he thinks they can win, so that's where we are.
Sometimes you have to do that at Saratoga with such a competitive market.
Right, for sure.
And one final question, Jack. Talk a little bit about Neolithic. He came back off of the trip to Dubai and won here recently. Thoughts about him going forward to the Woodward?
Yeah, that's where we're pointing to. I guess he'll have a breeze next week. He just looks fantastic. Frankie Brothers and I were over there yesterday morning looking at him, and the first thing Frankie said, he doesn't look like a Harlan's Holiday, you know. So he seems to be doing real well. But that race is really coming up tough.
He's really danced a lot of dances, though, going against the likes of Varigate and other horses.
All right. We'll give it a shot.
All right. Well, best of luck here, and best of luck with Neolithic as you point towards the Woodward.
Okay. Thank you, Gabby.
All right. Back to you guys.
Gabby, thanks. Yeah, Neolithic came back from Dubai here on Whitney Day in the finale and was all out, but got the win off the bench. And now deep waters coming up in the Woodward likely. Finale coming up next from the Spa.
And they're off. NyraBet's Pick 5 is now available exclusively online at NyraBets.com. Bet the NyraBet's Pick 5 every race day with a 15% takeout on the last 5 races on the card from the country's best racing at Belmont and Saratoga. Find it nationwide on NyraBets.com right in the Bet Type drop-down menu or at any Nyra track or New York OTB location. NyraBet's Pick 5, racing's best bet.
Back here on Saratoga Live on FS2, we got the nightcap coming up. We have a main track only entrant in here at even money on the board. And I want to throw it downstairs to Tom Amos. For those who don't know, all the horses in this race are eligible to be claimed for $40,000. So Tom, with this pedigree, how much this horse costs, $250,000. Would this be a horse you'd get on the phone with some of your owners and say, we need to put a claim in for this horse?
He's not for me, but I'm sure the claim box will be very crowded. Look, this horse has a good series of works week to week to week. I don't think his issues are physical in the way of legs, but the thing I question about this horse is his breathing. He's wearing what we call a figure 8. Todd wears that in a lot of his horses, but when you make this major a drop off of one race, to me, we've got a possible breathing issue here, and you might think a 1 1/8 is kind of counterintuitive for a horse that can't breathe, but it's all about how relaxed they are and whether they're being pressured. He makes an easy lead here. He can go 2 miles. If he's pressured and there's another horse alongside him, he's going to back up.
Well, we'll see what happens here. John Velasquez is on board as the horse checking out his surroundings here in a new area coming in from Gulfstream with more. Let's go to Maggie.
What I find interesting about It's a Big Boy is, to me, this horse is more bred for the turf, to be quite honest. I mean, the immediate pedigree, at least the dam, she was a 2-time winner on the turf. The foals have been very unproductive. There's no winners yet. But looking at him, he has a massive turf of, he would be interesting to me to claim from that perspective if I still was holding a trainer's license, which I guess I could get, but not for me at the moment. He has a turf hoof to him, so I would be interested in claiming him and at least giving a try on the turf. But as Tom said, he very well could have a breathing issue, but Todd, as far as equipment, every single horse that comes over does wear that drop noseband, guys.
All right, Maggie, thank you. So even money on this runner. You have 25,000 we can throw down here?
Nah, that's the thing. Well, it's 40,000, right?
Or 40.
Yeah, I think everything that you check the boxes, you stay away. And plus, you know, I don't like the horse to bet. Why would I want to claim? If I was going to claim a horse out of here, it would be nobody, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not very profitable to claim a maiden 40 unless you're going to do something with and change maybe surfaces or something. And like what Maggie was just saying, if you're going to claim the 12, you got to check off the boxes. And then if he doesn't run well here, you got to go on the turf.
1 1/8 distance here with this race being moved off the inner turf, now on the main track. And they load up. Even money on the main track only. It's a big boy. How will he fare here in start number 2 on the massive drop down in class? Let's send it upstairs to Larry Colmus here for the nightcap from Saratoga.
Praise the Moon moving into the starting gate will be followed by Golden Away. Next up is Pawn It Back. Golden Away just a little bit reluctant to come up to the starting gate here. Now steps forward and goes in. Here comes Pawn It Back. The favorite, It's a Big Boy, and John Velasquez at 6-5, moving into the starting gate next. Steps forward and in, and that leaves Holland Road. Holland Road coming up to the outside stall. Going in. They're all in line. They're off. Praise the Moon, just a step slow to begin. It is Strong Side going out for the lead with company from It's a Big Boy and Holland Road 3 wide. As they go into that turn, Holland Road floated well out into the track. And then comes Golden Away, settling into 4th position early on. Clear from Pawn It Back, who's 5th as they make their way around the clubhouse turn. And a gap of another 2 to slow starting Praise the Moon and Cape Angel on the inside. 24.14 was the first quarter. Onto the backstretch they go in pursuit of Strong Side and Jose Lezcano, who make the pace here. They're on top 3/4 of a length to the favorite It's a Big Boy running in 2nd. Golden Away follows in 3rd. Holland Road 4th on the outside. Then a line of 3 behind them. Cape Angel, Praise the Moon between. Pawn It Back on the outside. The half, 49.18. Up the backstretch. Strong Side, still the leader. It's a Big Boy, 3/4 of a length behind with a half-mile to go. Golden Away continues to ride the rail into the turn. Holland Road is 4th on the outside. And then it's Cape Angel, Praise the Moon, and Pawn It Back around the far turn. Strong Side continues to lead the way. John Velasquez asking more from It's a Big Boy. They've cut the lead now down to a neck. Holland Road is 4 lengths behind, running in 3rd. And then it's Golden Away and Pawn It Back on the outside. Strong Side turns for home with the lead here. It's a Big Boy yet to get by, and now they're stride for stride. It's a Big Boy on the outside, now takes over and starts to open up from Strong Side, who angles to the outside, and it's a long way back to the rest. It's a Big Boy, and John Velasquez coming home the winner here. The favorite reports home by 4. Strong Side was 2nd, and then it was Cape Angel 3rd, followed by Holland Road in 151.59.
It's a Big Boy, 2nd time out, 1st time going long, drops in for the big drop in class here to maiden claiming for Todd Pletcher and gets the win.
Yeah, big-time race here. And look, kind of the way we thought it would be for It's a Big Boy. Just look, he's got the class, and he dominates his group. Okay, it's 3 or 4 lengths back to our second-place finisher, but after that, it's probably another 15 lengths back to the third-place finisher. It's a Big Boy gallops out about 20 lengths in front of the turn, and I just got the word from Maggie Wolfendale, no claims in the claim box for this horse. There are some claiming trainers that wish they had another chance.
I don't know. I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say the good news for Todd Fletcher is he got the win to cut Chad Brown's lead to 24-23. The bad news is he wasn't claimed. I don't know. I bet you this horse will be right back in for attack. Tom, you may get another shot to claim him.
Look, he's attractive. How could you not like that attractive
I don't have
race?
$40,000.
Well, there you go. Well, they have $25,000 upstairs. You just got to put up 15. You could make a partnership on it.
I'll see if LaDuca will let it to me, Paul.
Yeah, right. I mean, here's the thing that's good about this horse now for Todd. He can put this horse anywhere, Tom. Now with the win for 40 on the turf for a starter allowance, he's got options with this horse now.
That's what I think, Paul. Look, I don't see him back in for 40. He's starter allowance bound.
Says Tom Amos, king of the starters.
There's Todd Fletcher. He'll take it, certainly. It's a Big Boy wins at 6-5 here and staying right there with Chad Brown.
And Jose Lascano did the right thing with strong side. He went to the front end. He slowed it down. And Tom made a great point. Whether it was breathing issues or not, It's a Big Boy was able to relax and finish. These two horses were just much the best and in a weaker field. But again, I like the way this horse won at the end. I'm with Tom a little bit. His ears were up a little bit. You looked like he wanted to do more. They might have snuck away with this one.
So It's a Big Boy gets the win. He's going to stick around in the Todd Fletcher barn a little bit longer. No claims in for the Son of Harlan's Holiday. We'll be back with more Saratoga Live right after this.
Undefeated in sprint competition, Eclipse champion Run Happy captured 3 Grade 1 victories and set blistering speed records at both Keeneland and Saratoga. In the Breeders' Cup Sprint, he dominated the world's fastest runners, going 6 furlongs in a record-breaking 108 and change. The only horse nominated for 3 Eclipse Awards, Run Happy was crowned champion male sprinter, all the while racing 100% drug-free. Champion, millionaire, record breaker, Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Change the way you watch racing forever with the new NYRA Now app. Live racing in English or Spanish. From a variety of camera angles, race replays, talking horses, race analysis, and a multitude of on-demand content, all in high definition. NYRA Now is available on many platforms, including iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and more coming soon. Download NYRA Now today, free in the App Store, and start watching the best racing like never before.
This 3-time graded stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and horse of the year Up With the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Runner-up in the Grade 1 Manhattan and Shadwell Turf Mile, Ironicus ran 7 triple-digit buyers, including this score in the Fort Marcy Stakes. Half to 4 graded stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Use NYRA Bets to bet on live horse racing from around the world. Bet from anywhere, anytime using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus today. NYRA Bets, racing's best play. Use promo code PICK5 to get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Saratoga Live on Fox Sports 2. It's a big boy. Todd Pletcher playing a little poker here with the massive drop down in class. Gets a win, keeps the horse as well. $4.50 for the victory for Starlight Racing and Jack Wolf. Let's send it downstairs to Gabby Gaudet for more.
And no claims in for It's a Big Boy, but standing next to Todd Pletcher. And Todd, is that just kind of what you got to do here at Saratoga? He debuted against Maiden Special Weight Company in his first start, but just to take the edge, drop him in for the tag?
Well, we felt like this was appropriate placing based on the way he's been training and the way the race came up at Gulfstream wasn't a particularly strong race. Felt like the mile and an eighth would suit him if we got lucky and it came off. And we had the storm come in yesterday, so it turned out to be a really good spot.
And it helped that he was forwardly placed in here today with that added distance. Just Johnny took him around and around the track.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like that strong side would probably be the horse that we'd be chasing, and we wanted to get some good position in the first turn. And he was able to do that, and he kind of grounded out.
Talk about some of the horses that you sent out thus far this meet, talking about the Saratoga Special today, some of your impressive 2-year-olds, Motivation being one of them. Talk about him and then maybe some of the other horses that you're looking forward to showcasing here.
Well, Motivation's doing well. He came out of the win in good order. He's going to breeze tomorrow. Right now we're planning on pointing for the hopeful, and we also had National Flag win. We thought that was a pretty good race. So right now we have possibly both of them for the hopeful, and now we kind of need a filly to step up besides Pure Silver, who won yesterday.
She was very impressive yesterday. Well, so far so good. You and Chad Brown head to the wire here for leading trainer title here at Saratoga. But once again, congratulations on having such a good meet thus far.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Greg.
Gabby, thanks. Yeah, once again, Todd Pletcher, ho-hum, loaded with 2-year-olds.
Leave out Pletcher, leave in a stretcher.
Can't wait to see possibly 2 pointed to the hopeful on the final day of the meet. Pure Silver looked sensational in that win.
Yeah, listen, Motivation looked great, too, and I would think that's his best bullet right now. Chad Brown's got a couple bullets. We've seen a couple fillies that have been amazing. Chad Brown filly, and don't forget about the Barbara Minshall filly that came in here from Woodbine and crushed.
Yeah, in the Schuylerville.
Yeah.
We got plenty of talent still to come. We'll see, I'm sure, some new ones, some youngsters going to be unveiled. Let's see who won this Saratoga Showdown contest this afternoon. Keep in mind, you can play this each and every day. You go to SaratogaShowdown.com or NYRA.com to get involved. And
Oatmeal.
Bob Synth getting the win this afternoon, so getting 50,000 NYRA Bets points, which is the equivalent of $50 in your account to wager with, and also winning an entry into that $2,000 prize package for the 2018.
That's well done, $231. That's well done, $231.
I didn't know we could book rides in the canoe, otherwise I'd be joining them.
We throw Andy in the canoe?
Maybe for one show we're going to have to. That looks like a nice little ride on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. This might be the prettiest day we've had this entire meet coming up. In the Saratoga Special, one more time, it was trainer Steve Asmussen winning this race for a 4th time in his career with Winchell Thoroughbreds. Irad Ortiz Jr., part of a 4-win day for him. Of course, celebrating his 25th birthday on Friday. He's on quite a roll. We'll see you back on Monday at 4 Eastern time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching.